Hey everybody, Roar the Lions UK, Matt and Anne with a special show for you, the second in our Check the Tape series looking at the 2023 rookies for the Detroit Lions. And today, Ant, we're checking out Sorsdal and Martin. But how are you first of all?
I'm doing good, thanks. I am very, very tired. I've been working a lot. I've worked about 10 straight days in a row now, and I am knackered, and I have been grinding out the college pod. I've been grinding out tape, but I enjoy this, so I don't mind. And who doesn't like a little bit of trench warfare? We've got offensive and defensive lines today. This is Brad Holmes stuff. This is what we like. We like to see some big beefy men beating up on other big beefy men. That's how we like to spend our Sunday nights.
It is, and we're going to start off with fifth round pick Colby Sorsdal. So bringing up the graphic on the screen now, but Colby comes from William and Mary. Let me bring up for you, and I'll share my screen with Ant so he can see what I'm looking at as well. So I'll try and rearrange that. I can't make that any bigger. That's frustrating. Anyway, never mind. So Colby comes from William and Mary. He played right tackle for 5 seasons there. He played in 13 games in 2022. You can see, if once I get rid of this graphic, those games in question. Didn't allow any sacks this year according to PFF. Allowed 10 pressures. Had a PFF grade of 91.5. Obviously, it looks like we're kicking him inside to guard this year, but those are his game grades, just to give you an idea of what we're looking at for, a surface level look. And if you have a look at the season grades there, started off in limited snaps, and in the first 4 years, really, he wasn't a full-time starter in a lot of what's going on. Obviously, COVID in 2020, only 53 snaps in 2018, but 310 in 2019, 465 in 2021. Didn't get anything above a 68.2 grade in any of those 4 seasons, and then in the most recent season jumps up to a 91.5. And his pass blocking has seemingly always been quite good since 2019, 74.1 and above. But it's run blocking where he's really taken a jump from 66.2 in 2019 and then worse in subsequent years, all the way up to 91.3 this year. In terms of the games that I've looked at, I couldn't find for the life of me the Charlotte game, game 1, which Ant reliably informs me is an FBS college. So that's the hardest opposition he's faced, and he obtained a 67.4 grade, which was a worse than average score for him on the year, but obviously it's much better than most of the season grades he's had in the last few years. I ended up looking actually at his last 2 games. So they were both during the FCS playoffs, with Gardner-Webb coming to William and Mary in Williamsburg for the second round of the FCS playoffs, posting a 87.9 grade. And then they went away to Montana State, who they ended up losing to. Montana State then ended up losing, I think, to the eventual champion South Dakota State. So Montana State actually blew them away, and for Gardner-Webb, William and Mary blew them away. So it was very much role reversal, and in Montana State, 69.1. But without further ado, let's crack on straight away with this, and I'll bring up my notes and my annotation tool. I've changed what I did from last week, so hopefully this is going to look a little bit better than it did last time. So, Colby Sorsdal, right tackle here for every single snap, so you won't see him go away from this at all. We can see him on this play here, and I'll clear that. And on this first play, what do we have? So actually, this wasn't even one I was going to show, but now that it's here, I'm going to show it straight away. So let's roll this through. So he gets pushed back, but recovers on a pass blocking snap, and then obviously a big gain down the field there. So let's just watch that again. So you'll see a lot for William and Mary's offense. It's a school which is vaunted for its running attack. They were second in the nation in the FCS this year. So a lot of that big run blocking grade for Colby is actually representative across their entire line. They had a very, very good year doing this. They do a lot of crashing left or crashing right as a team. It just seems to be a scheme thing that they like to do. But let's just roll this through one more time. So he gets a good get off the line. The guy kind of defender rocks him back, but he seems to kind of anchor a little bit. And one thing I really like about Sorsdal, Ant, is we'll see through this. He's got good recoverability. Even when he kind of loses on the first push, he tends not to lose many reps, even withstanding that.
No, he's a really big dude, isn't he? I don't think you just appreciate the size of some of these guys till you see him. But yeah, he's very athletic for his size. I will give him that. The bits I've seen of him, it's impressive, and it's the same with Brodric. We'll do later as well. It's the guys, it's their hustle. I think it's a key trait that Holmes looks for in his players. Guys who hustle, even if they can't particularly impact the play, which Colby doesn't really at this point, because it goes the other way. You still see them hustling, trying to make the most of it, trying to make an impact. And that's really what you want to see from these guys, because it's what's going to get them reps at the next level, isn't it? Just been persistent, wanting to get involved, wanting to be in the play. So, yeah, it's good to see.
So this next rep is a run block. So this is going to be a run to the left. We can see Colby here. So run to the left. My notes are advances and ties up defender over a long period, keeps driving the legs and locks out perpendicular to the runner. This is something that you'll see a lot with Colby Sorsdal, and it's one thing I absolutely love about him. He knows exactly what the play is going to be. He knows exactly what gap the runner is trying to get to, and he ends up creating a lot of space because he's always locking out perpendicular to the runner to try and fence off the defender. So let's just run this through. Keeps driving, then locks out, trying to kind of fence him off. So he's trying to get to his left-hand side because he knows that his runner is going to be coming up on his left-hand side. So let's try and wind this back. So I'll try and just... So he wants to get here and then fence off like that, if that makes any sense. I try and clear the drawings and it doesn't want to work. Let's see this again. So it gets to this guy and then tries to get to the left-hand side of him and hold him so that he can get through that gap. Now, somewhat successful, but keeps driving those legs. Ends up about 8 yards deep, Ant.
Yeah, no, it's good. It's good push. It's what you want to get. You want to get the leverage on the guy, which is what he does. Gets the push back, got the strength there. It's critical for a run game. So I like the amount of leverage he gets in that situation there.
Because I'm doing this, guys, by the way, it's more difficult for me to monitor comments, but if you do have them coming in, I'm going to check them every other snap or snow, and obviously Ant can check for me as well. Twitch is easier because it's actually on Streamlabs, so I can see it, but glad all you guys are here. Thank you so much for being in, and if you've got any comments about the plays or anything like that, I will say this for myself, I am very much an amateur at this scouting stuff, especially offensive and defensive line, just because trench play is a lot about technique, about hand fighting, that sort of thing, which is difficult to see, so... You may well see something that we don't hear, and please do chime in if you see something you like or don't like, because it'd be really interesting to read. Right, let's get on to this next play that I've got highlighted, which is at 9:45. And that will do. So this play does nice to block and lock out his man out of the play here. This is a run block play, obviously 3 yards away from the end zone in the shotgun, so you can see Colby... on the right-hand side of the formation here. 5-man front he's facing, and then 3 guys just behind them. So they're obviously coming one-on-one on the outside on their receivers, and otherwise the house is potentially coming here. Colby locks his guy out of the play. They know they're going to the outside. Running back obviously bounces it into the end zone there pretty comfortably, but... It's not necessarily about that. He knows that the running back might be forced inside, and in fact the running lane then might be right behind Sorsdal. So just running this through one more time. He gets to his man and instantly locks him out perpendicular to the running lane.
But look, he's under the pads. That is the most critical thing as an offense, as a lineman in general. Get under your opponent's pads, because then you control the play. And you can very clearly see him get under the pads and leverage his guy inside. And get for the really tall guys, because I mean, what height is he at? He's a pretty tall dude, isn't he?
Colby is 6'6".
So sometimes with the bigger guys, that is an issue they have at the level is getting that leverage, getting underneath your opponent's pads. But there, it's very, very clear. You can see the right hand is underneath, shoves him out of the way. Again, that's good technique, that is.
I might do this because it's easier. I'm hoping that we don't get pinged by the powers that be, because it did help last time. If we do get pinged on YouTube, by the way, the Twitch stream apparently doesn't get affected. So if you have a problem on YouTube where it says there's been a copyright flag or something like that, pop on over to the Twitch stream.
I've got the stream on and it's fine. I think it's because we were using the actual ACC stuff last time or whatever.
I will be using the ACC one for the next one. So,
okay.
Oh, ACC, what is it? It's NCAA. So it might be the same issue, but we shall see. So that link is not going to work. Sorry.
What up, though, to Donber and Luke, who I've seen in the chat. Hope you're doing well, Luke. And you, Don, and everybody else who's in with us. We really appreciate you being here.
Yeah. Big Aries says that block would be to help the quarterback if he didn't pitch. I guess the outside rusher was probably the read. Absolutely. He's aware that for whatever's going on behind him, he doesn't know, and he might be asked to assist the quarterback there. So, absolutely. This play is quite fun and shows just how quick Colby can be. So, notes for this one are: pulls all the way to the left and meets the linebacker in the other side B gap. So you can see Colby here. He's going to come in this way and fence off this guy here, which seems insane to me, but there we go. I hope I've got the right play, because it's quite fun if it is. Let's roll it. Absolutely bullies him as well. I know the play goes the other way, but I don't care. It's a lovely piece of play, this.
Oh yeah, this is... Sometimes on this tape, it's not about the impact they have on plays. It is about what they're doing themselves on the field. You want to see, are they getting the technique right? Are they doing all that you're asking of them? And then, like you say, again, pulls around, fences off his man. The Lions love this. This is all we do, is we pull guys around the edge to go and block for the run. So even if he's not involved in the play, you want to see that he's got the ability to do that. And quite clearly there, he pulls it off.
Absolutely. All right, next one is 1736. Okay, so this one has to wait for rusher, but absorbs impact well here. So this is pass blocking, and he has to block space for a while, but he doesn't switch off here. So you've got a bit more firepower on the line, so you'll find Colby one in from the bottom here on the line. Tight end outside him. So kicks into his gap, waits for the rusher, and keeps him, holds him there. But then that man actually comes back and gets him. So I was kind of hoping that he might follow him and try and force him all the way around the back of the quarterback there. Kind of lets him go a little bit.
I don't think so, because all he can do at this point, you can't touch him, or you're going to get done for passing. You're going to get done for interference. He does what he can. In fairness, that's just a really damn good play from the speed rusher there. Yeah. I mean, again, he's 6'6" and nearly 300 pounds. The guy just can't move with these speed edge rushers like that. They're not designed to. Tackle does what he's meant to do on there.
So this is another rep which is going to display his recovery abilities. This is a pass block. It says force back but maintains pocket and anchors well here. So kind of loses on the initial push but still continues to do well on this rep. So you can see the rusher on the outside, force back, but then actually ends up forcing him back. So absorbs the bull rush.
Very quick feet off the get as well.
He kicks out exceptionally quickly.
Look at that.
It's not quite Saul, but it's for a fifth round pick, it's very good.
He is off balance there, though. I will say that the rusher does get under him and push him back. If the quarterback's coming in his direction that way, then that could be a bit of a different play. But yeah, I do love the footwork off there, but he just does need to set himself a little bit better. But again, every play is not going to be a perfect thing. There are going to be things that they need to improve on. This is why they're picks later on. But I love the kickoff there. Very fast. Just needs to get his anchor right in that one.
On to the next series for William and Mary, and only 7-0 coming to the end of the first quarter, so kind of low-scoring game to start. This is a run block, and it's a crash right by the offensive line. He ends up getting rocked by the defender a bit, but recovers and then anchors to hold the point of attack rather than getting driven into the backfield. So let's roll this through. Again, a tight end on the end of the line here, which is going to help him transition to guard, I think. So he actually ends up getting pushed back, but doesn't let the guy through. And obviously it's a kind of stretch play to the right. So he ends up doing what he needs to, which is just not allowing penetration in that particular play. But it's not quite as strong as you would like.
I like this. I do like the scheme there, though. Just William and Mary do run the ball so well, and they are schemed to do so.
Yeah. So he takes this guy, and that guy kind of pushes him back maybe a half yard.
But he seals it off. His job is to seal off the rushing lane, or to seal off the edges so that the guy can run, and he does. That's exactly what he needed to do there. I think he gets pushed back a little bit. That's, oranges and lemons and what they say. It's I think he did perfectly well there.
So the very next play, pass block here, holds the pocket well, quarterback holds it for a long time, and the defender eventually wins here. But I think at some point the defender's always going to win if you hold it this long. So one in from the bottom again with the tight end outside him. So kind of, I think I would be pinging him for a hold there. Unfortunately,
no, I think he lets go. I think that's within the bounds of legality.
So let's just
again. He holds him up for plenty of time.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Only rushing 3, so he should have a bit of help here, which he ends up not really having, which is a bit weird.
No,
but just on the bottom here,
he's up. Great movement. Guy can't separate.
I don't really understand what the right guard's doing there. He seems to trying to be helping, but he just ends up not. It's really weird.
So again, the technical aspect is he's got his arms in the right place. That D-end cannot separate from him, so cannot go after the rusher. It's not until that he's coming back and that Sorsdal has to let go that he's able to get that separation. That gives the quarterback enough time to do what he needs to do. Again, he's very athletic and he gets in position. So far, he's looking good.
Yeah. All right. 30-44. Right, so this one's another pass block. Goes to meet his man, but loses him slightly after a couple of seconds. This is not all good stuff. I want to try and highlight a balance as much as possible here. So he is the second from the top on the offensive line now with the tight end above him. So let's go and see what happens here. So he kind of gets pulled a bit to the side and loses his man. Now he holds him up for enough time so the quarterback can get the play off. But I think the defender actually ends up winning slightly too easily here. But he does enough. He kind of loses the hand fighting just a little bit. He kind of almost overshoots him to the left. And the defender just takes advantage of that.
Again, he's given his quarterback at least 2 to 3 seconds before the guy's past him. It is all to do with. I mean, sometimes you do lose, but it is about giving your quarterback time to make the play, and he does. I understand there are sort of technical issues you sort of see there a little bit, but at the end of the day, he does the job he needs to. Again.
All right, so for this one, crashes inwards and destroys his man with power on a run block. So just, if you can't see Colby, that's him right here. I'll roll that through. So meets the linebacker, and although he ends up on the floor, he absolutely destroys him and eats up the rusher there, because he's actually coming with a head of steam, this linebacker. Let's run this through again. So linebacker's kind of coming through the B gap there, and he just completely shuts him down.
Gets tossed slightly. That reminded me of Emrod. That'd be something Emrod would do. He gets tossed a little bit, but again, I wouldn't like to see that. I think you hit him head on. You want to
finish.
You really want to assert your dominance over your guy there. That's a little sloppy, but doesn't affect the play. But I would like to see a better end product there.
All right, pass blocking play here. blocks one, then passes that guy off to block the outside rusher. Nice transition here. So Colby at the top of the offensive line. I think the inside guy comes and he blocks him off, and then the outside guy comes late and he blocks him off as well. So let's see that. So Colby's looking at the outside guy, kicks out, blocks that guy, and then there's a stunt from the inside guy to come outside, and he hands off the what was the outside guy to the inside guy.
That's just great offensive line play, that is.
It's good communication.
So you double team the guy. So what a lot of these offensive linemen don't do with the double teams, they go in for their initial assignment, and then they're meant to, that all it's meant to be is like a shove, a punt, just something little, and then you're meant to be out and free again. Because, and I'll show you this later with Brodrick, it's so many offensive linemen go in on him and they lose their actual assignments they're meant to do. But I love this. He just comes in, does just enough to help his colleague out with the double team, and then he's back out in his own territory again. Because you're going to see the guard come out, guard's assignment, there you go, switch it. That's just really fun play, that is.
And it ends up in a touchdown, a huge passing touchdown on 3rd and long at the start of the second quarter. Really nice, just football play all around, really, but really good play by Colby in particular.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, it's really good stuff. All right, 46-12. So this one, sustained effective fence off outside block here. So actually the ball's already been snapped here, so I'll just wind back just a touch. So at the top of the offensive line here, one thing I've noticed that I think he might get pinged slightly for false starts because he tends to twitch a little bit sometimes, but that's just really, really nice. He ends up getting side on to the rest of the offensive line and just bullies the edge player completely out of the play.
That's good strength. You just want to see good strength play from your tackle there.
Right, so we'll see this again. So he just initiates contact and then gets sideways onto him. Perfect. And it opens up a running lane.
And look at the pads. He gets on the pads, and that is what you need to do. You get on the pads and you stop that player from making a play. You can see him very clearly on the guy's right pad there. The hand's in, it's locked, he can't move. You're just taking him out of the play completely.
This next one is the very next play, and it's a sustained effective fence off inside block. So the last one was an outside block. This one, fencing him off on the inside. Second from the top, just here. And so just turns his body round and he creates a running lane on the outside. The running back jumps inside, but it's basically the opposite of what happened in the previous play. Have I gone back too far? I have. Here we go. He's really good at doing this. I don't know if he's got any sort of wrestling background, but he initiates contact and then just manages to move to the outside and make himself perpendicular to the line. And I think the running back makes the wrong read there by bouncing it inside. Should have turned outside and he'd have had a big lane. And I mean, so we had a back-to-back one there where he did really well. Why don't we have a look at the very next play? Excellent, sustained, effective fence-off outside block, creating hole for big gain, and there's a replay too, which is a good, better angle for this one. Fences him off and just hold.
Oh, me like you that.
Yeah.
But again, watch the pads. I can already see that from all the way up here. Just watch how he uses leverage by getting under the pads. I really like that, and that is what you want to see. I mean, just to put this into perspective, this Gardner-Webb team nearly beat Liberty last year, who were a ranked FBS side. These ain't no slouches. But look, you see how he's under the pad?
Look at that, just there.
Under the pad, and when you've got that, you can dominate the play. Opposition can't do anything. He cannot detach from you because you've got his pad, and you basically decide which direction they go in, and that's away from the play.
We've had 3 plays in a row, so why not make it 4? Very next play. Crash inwards, then sustain outside block to create hole. Colby's just really, really good at this sort of maintaining a block and transitioning his position to create running lanes. So he's at the top of the offensive line here, crashes inward, and then he moves to the outside.
See, does he lose his leverage though? That would be the only thing. I don't know whether he gets turned there. Can you play that one again?
Yeah.
I just want to see whether he gets turned or not.
So I think he's the one doing
him.
the turning. I think he slightly loses his feet.
But
the idea here is crash down outside, and then he turns his body to block there for the running back coming through like that.
But that's the thing. If he turns, I don't know whether he should be creating a running angle. I'll let me have a look. I'll see. I might just be being harsh. I might got it wrong. In he goes. Nah, he gets turned. His guy's under it. I mean, at the end of the day, that's a good play. I think his guy gets under him a little and just sort of turns him round.
Okay.
But again, I'm happy to be corrected on that one. It just, for me, if he sustains that block without getting turned, then his running back can sort of hit the outside as well if he wants to create a lane there for him. There's no reason he can't keep him on the inside and still do what they did there. But that is just my interpretation of that. You've watched this, I haven't, so.
Yeah, I've spent 4 hours watching Colby tape, which is quite a lot. Hello to Mark Malat, who says Super Bowl or bust. The Lions Post with Miko saying you guys did some real digging for this tape. It really did. Yeah. And Prison Mike saying so much better than the constant hot take BS on a lot of other Lions channels. You might find hot take BS on this channel, but if we do, it's all going to be in good jest. There won't be any toxicity on this show. And Lisa DiLorenzo as well, one of our biggest supporters, is also here. Hello to you, Lisa. Hi, everyone, she says. Right, time to get on with the next one. But anyway, this one, 4 for me, really excellent plays by Colby in a row, going from their own 20-yard line all the way to the end zone. So really, really impressive there. Let's get on to the next series.
So yeah, so for me, you're seeing what you want to. One, we might want him in the run game this year, so you want to see that he's got the technique to do it. Again, got the grappling technique you need on the line to create lanes, to move guys around, and then he's got the strength as well to do it. You can see the little bit of technical refinement he needs, but again, 5th round pick, that's to be expected. But no, it's good stuff. It's good stuff, this is. And again, like I said, this Gardner Webb team are not slouches. They were a good side last year.
Yeah. Yeah, they were. Oh, I should mention, by the way, William and Mary went 10-1. That was the highest number of wins in program history, by the way. So this is a very good historic William and Mary team. Also, Cam Newton was at every game home and away this year watching William and Mary because his younger brother was the leading receiver for the Tribe. So you can see his fun upstart outfits in the crowd. And it was freezing both games here, by the way, so fair play to him. This is not a good play by Colby, but got to show it. Stunt inside, get rocked by a push, who gets to the runner easily, not instantly. So
has he got a tight end on his outside here?
He has no. He's second in. He is this guy here.
So he has got a tight end just on his outside.
Oh, sorry, he's got a tight end on his outside. Yes.
Yeah, I just check him. Okay, I can see him. There he goes. Oh, that's really bad hands.
Yeah.
That's really bad hands.
And what I don't understand is that given the contact there, you think he might revert to trying to block that guy. He seems to be
overrunning it, though. I'm not sure that's his assignment. He seems to deliberately overrun that.
Yeah, I know. This guy here completely misses his 53 misses his assignment. But the thing is, football doesn't always go perfectly, and when something goes wrong, sometimes you need to adjust on the fly and not get to your assignment. Just deal with what's there.
So can you slow-mo that one?
Yeah.
Again, this is why hands so important. This rusher gets under, and this is again.
I will say, that was the quarterback bailing out. So this is a direct snap to the running back.
Yeah. So this is all about hand placement. He's coming across and he's off balance, and the guy gets hands on him, and that's how easy it can be. You can move a 300-pound guy if you get hands on him properly.
Right. So the guy I've just circled second here. This is his assignment, but he completely misses it. Colby pulling effectively runs into the guy, but he should then sustain the block because otherwise the guy's going to meet the running back. Like, you have to be able to adjust here and not just go, I need to make my assignment. Like, come on. But you can see that offensive lineman's turning around going, what? Where? Who?
He is. He is looking. He is
Sorry,
looking.
you said me.
No, it's all right. You can see he's going for his pull block. As soon as he sort of makes a little attempt at it, he carries on. But I think that's just a little bit of initiative that there is. You've got a free runner. You can't really leave a free runner behind. But
Right.
you'll just see sort of the hands get underneath a little bit as he comes round. See, look there. See there. The hands, he just gets in with it. And
so it wasn't
out
even
he
the guard who missed his assignment. I think there was meant to be another pulling guard who was meant to come from the left to the right hand side, and he just doesn't get there. But anyway,
yeah, that's not that's not a blown assignment from Colby.
no,
that is just I think that is a little bit more initiative. It's like, sometimes you'll have to break off on a play and do something you don't want to do, because the play's not going to develop if you kind of let him go. So, okay, I'm not going to be too harsh on something like that, because he's not expecting that, and he is fixated on what he needs to do. So this is the kind of guy's like, you tell him to do this, he will go and do it for you. There's no showboating, no, taking it there. But I think sometimes you just got to be smart enough just to know when you need it somewhere.
Yeah, so Big Aries just said DT got a good jump. He couldn't get that. It's too early for his steps in that pool.
Yeah,
probably.
Yeah,
but I want to see him do better.
Him.
Like,
yeah.
It's not like he's done anything wrong, but given the situation he finds himself in, I'd like to see him then not just run right by the guy about to tackle the running back as well. Like, if he's contacted there and it disrupts his momentum, he could just stay where he is. Like, at that point, the play's blown anyway. So, Super Saiyan Lions saying, see, that's the exact problem. People just want highlights instead of watching film on player. Great job, ROTL UK. Which I love. Very next play, rebounds with a good one. So let's move on to that. So in this one, blocks man of first and second level was my note. Again, he's got the tight end outside him at the top of the offensive line. Blocks that guy, then blocks that guy. Now, he's actually blocking him on the wrong side of where the runner actually goes. So I don't know whether that's the running back just picking a hole or whether he should have been on the other side. But he chips one guy and then blocks the second guy. I don't think there's a replay here, unfortunately.
I would like to see more on that second block. I'm not going to lie. It feels a bit... He does need to get the inside leverage there. So
that first one is a double team, and then he gets there.
Bounced out, and then... Yeah.
So he's actually the one who actually ends up going backwards there. But, I mean, he's distracting the defender from actually making the play.
He is. And then again, so if he's not in the play here, but when they're not in the play, you still want to see what they're doing. So we'll sometimes show you something that you want to see, and that is just a bit, I guess, too easy.
Yeah.
It's a bit loose, yeah. Again,
he ends up contacting two different players there, and I think maybe chipping the first one perhaps throws him a little bit off balance into the second. But he ends up getting to both assignments, so. Nicholas3983 says, how has Hendon Hooker been doing in training camp? Training camp doesn't start for another week, I don't think, but in terms of what he's done in OTAs so far, he's not participating at the moment. He's been doing the mental stuff, he's been doing walkthroughs, but he's not been doing any live action reps, and he's been kind of developing his chemistry with his receivers by just kind of being present, and he seems to have made Ant a good... I know this is an aside from what we're doing, but it seems like everyone seems to like Hendon as a person.
Yeah, I think he's going to start on the... he's going to start on PUP, probably.
On NFI,
something like that, or an NFI. And I think that's the right decision. You keep Sudfeld in. If someone happens to go off early, you can bring him in, I reckon. But I think the ideal situation would be just to leave him on PUP. Maybe even all season, if you don't need to bring him up. I don't know if there's a limit, but keep him on there as long as you can. Let him do what he needs to, and then bring him up when you're ready. Because when he's ready,
there's no limit. But he's out. Yeah. If you put him on NFI, it's not PUP. It must be NFI because the injury was formed before he was in the NFL. If he starts the season on that, he's out for the first 5 games.
I think it's something like that. So I think you would expect that, and then you can bring him back up, and then you can just can Sudfeld when you're ready.
Yeah. C. Gerald says the type of things he'll learn next to Penne, which is so true.
It is. This guy's still going to be learning his game. He's going to be developing a lot. So he's going to have to do this against. I mean, the level of opposition is just going to go into the stratosphere. So this is going to go stuff to be learned. But you're looking to see if they've got the fundamental issues right. They're getting the technique right. They're doing the right things. And then he is. He's very disciplined. He's carrying out his assignments. He's doing what he needs to do. And sometimes they just get beat. Just that's how it happens.
Yeah.
No one wins every snap.
Right, I think we've got about another 10 plays to look at in this, and then I stopped watching after an hour and a half because they were just blowing them out so much. I felt like any subsequent play wasn't really reflective of whether he was doing well or not, because they were just giving up. At 28-0 in the first half, I felt like there was still some value to be had here. Right, this one, for me, is not a good rep either. Caught, so he's blocking space to begin with. He identifies then his man, but he gets caught in two minds, and there's maybe a slight hold here. Got tight end outside him at the top of the formation. Let's run this through. Blocking space, he can see his guy, and then he has a little bit of a shimmy, and he gets hands on him, but I think he potentially holds him at the end there. I'm not sure.
I think he's just giving him a nice hug. Nothing wrong with that.
Nice hug.
It's just like you've had a hard day. Come here, let me give you a hug. Watch him. Here we go.
It's a really nice feint by the defender to go inside then out very quickly.
It is, and that's how guys are going to try and get the better of him. It's the speed rushers will want to get a run on him and see if they can use their footwork to have at him. But he seems to be able to deal with it all right. Seems to position himself well to give himself the best chance to make a play. And they'll give him a little bit of bother, but again, with tackles that big, it will happen. So, it's to be expected. But I love his footwork. I think his footwork's really good. I'm not going to lie.
All right. This one, he held his block, but then he got pulled and ripped at the end of this one. So let's watch this through. Now at the top of the offensive line, no tight ends outside him. So he holds him, and then eventually the defender rips past him. But he holds it for 2 seconds or so, which is enough. And then the quarterback ends up escaping for a nice gain.
Yeah. I got no issues with that. Block. Now he's gone. But
it's a good move by the edge player. You're going to struggle to beat that sort of technique for over 3 seconds. So
if he's getting done by that off the snap, then it's like issue. But he gets the initial block, he holds him, and gives enough time for the play to develop. You don't need to be blocking for 3 or 4 seconds. You just need to get that initial block in, give your QB time. I don't mind that.
All right,
I can't believe they absolutely rinsed this team. This really shocked me, this did.
All right, with this one, kicks out nicely and blocks man twice as he shifts. Top of the offensive line here. Kicks out really well. Blocks him once, and then
movement.
Yeah. Just carries him all the way around. It's really nice.
Dare throw the word round, but that foot movement's almost elite. In the way that look at that get off. He's in stance before the guy's even got out of his stance.
I just like the way that he follows the block all the way around the pocket there. It's really good.
But he does it without causing penalties. I know you said he might get picked for, starting off too early, but look at this. Look how quick he's in his stance. It's just crazy how quick he's up and he's in and ready. Look. Ball snapped. Look,
it's on the snap.
He's not even in the quarterback's hands when he's in stance and ready to block. That's just that you can't sort of teach. That is just next level to be able to get it right off the snap, right off the cadence. That gives you the best chance to win reps, and he wins reps. I actually really, really, really like this. Not gonna lie.
Ken Stouder says, have you guys seen the YouTube vid on Penei Sewell saying he may be the best OT in the NFL? Came out yesterday. He does some very nice tape diagnosis like you guys. Who did that, Ken? Be interested to find out. And we got Micro Mike in the chat as well. What's up to you, Mike? And Depthman says, meanwhile, FTB locked on show compares roster with the pack. Wild to hear that he thinks Zach Tom is a better pass blocker than Penei and be a better right tackle comprehensively. I don't think it's beyond the realm of possibility that some people are better pass blockers than Penei. He's definitely a better run blocker than he is pass blocker. I don't think that's in question. But he's still very good as a pass blocker. And Zach Tom is a good player that I really like. But I don't think he's quite up there yet, personally.
I really like Zach Tom, and I don't think he's near Penei. And I really like Zach Tom. I just think Penei's going to be that good. For me, Penei's got something that very few other tackles have, and he's just got elite athletic movement. He will block like a 350-pound, 7-foot guy, but then he'll move like a wide receiver, you can't. That's just rare.
Yeah. Dixie Enormous in YouTube just said, love the show. I'm from Grand Rapids, Michigan. So cool that we have this show. Cheers, Dixie. We'll
I
be
love that name.
we'll be driving not too far away from Grand Rapids in just a short amount of time. What is it now? Is it 8 months to go until the draft? 8.5 months.
I don't want to think about it right now. It's just like it's just more.
We haven't even had the season yet, and it's only 8.5 months, and we will be in Michigan.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's going to be great. Can't wait. Anyway, what have we got here? 124.38. Crash right, engage and drives his man back to create hole behind. Tight end outside him, so he's the second man in from the top.
Oh, under the pads, out he goes. See you, bye.
You've seen this a few times from him now. He's just really good at this.
I love this work with, again, this is stuff you look for. Just watch how quick he's under. Up the guy gets. He's under the pads already. Just one swipe of his hand, and he's almost one-handing him out. He's almost stiff-arming him out the way. That is just good O-line play, that is. Again, just watch how quick he gets in charge of this rep.
One thing I want to highlight, if I can stop it in the right place.
I mean, look, ball snapped, and look how quick his hand's under the right shoulder of the DN.
Okay, here we go. So he engages him there. You can see that's the angle right now. It's kind of like in line with the quarterback. When you say when he gets underneath, but look at what he does with the angle when he gets it. And he turns him like that and fences him off. It's great.
But the running back's not even got hold of the ball. And he's already driving the D end back. That's again, it's his quickness, it's the speed off the snap. That is half the battle. Been a trench player is, been the first guy, landing the first punch, grabbing the first, pad, what you need to do, because then that just dictates everything that happens afterwards. I would agree. Miko's put in there as well. Trent Williams is probably the only OT close to Sewell's athleticism. That is true. Trent Williams is just a freak in nature. Absolutely. But I can see 100% where he's coming from. That is what Penay's ceiling is. If he gets as good as he wants to be, it's Trent Williams. And Trent Williams is the best offensive tackle in the NFL. Zach Tom, as much as I love him, does not have best tackle in the NFL ceiling. That's why I love them both. But that Tom thing is just there. No. Right, don't like it.
This starts off a run of 6 consecutive plays that we're going to watch. And then I've finished watching this game and we'll move on to the next one. So this first one is a stretch play to the right-hand side. He does well to get to the second level and then fences a block inside. So tight end outside him here. So second in on the offensive line at the top. This guy comes out wide and then comes... I don't know how he does that.
Leverage. All about leverage.
But the defender allows him to get beside him and then fence him off on the outside. The defender is negligent here, I think. Shouldn't be allowing this to happen, really. But he gets that side of him and then just... I know it's a linebacker, but it's still funny to me.
Just great play. Gotta admire it.
Right, very next play. Chips the first guy before fencing off second level man outside. So this is a few examples of him getting second level work in. Second man from the top again after the tight end has moved across. Chips that guy, then blocks that guy outside. Really, really good work.
Yeah.
I mean, he's so athletic, he's basically replicating what a tight end can do when he's on the line if he's a good blocker. Which is...
like I say, just good play again.
Gets that guy, then turns that guy around, creates the gap that the running back has. So he only gets 1.5 yards because there's people behind him, but it's still really good work.
You can see why they like him. And it's the same with Brodrick. You can see why they like them. And even though some people may say they were drafted too high, I like the value for both of them at this point. From what I'm seeing from Colby, from what I've seen from Brodrick, I really like the value we've got for them. And I can see 100% why they drafted the pair of them.
All right. This next one, Third play in a row, sustains block for a long time, good technique here. Pass block, and we have seen that after a few seconds he can lose reps in passing, so I wanted to show you one where he can do it for a period of time. So the top guy on the offensive line now. Blocks this guy, he tries to counter, continues to hold him, just
every time, pads. Seen he's got him again. You can't disengage when your pads get... Look, got his pads. Guy can't disengage, can't get off him.
I do wonder if in the NFL you might get pinged for a hold there, because the guy seems to try and disengage a little bit, and maybe with your arms extended...
You've got to be stronger. Got to be stronger. That's... I mean, we'll get buzzed for it. That's what Trey Flowers did to him Bakhtiari all those years ago. And yeah, that gets pinged, but that's because you've got a ref who doesn't know the rules of the NFL. No wrong with that at all. On the DN to be stronger.
Right. This one is slightly concerning given what we were saying about overrunning an ant. I have seen a few reps where he does overrun his block sometimes, and this is another one of them. Slightly overruns his block and just finds himself in space with this one.
No, I think he gets pushed out.
He gets pushed out.
He gets pushed out. I mean,
but should he not be expecting that with that guy right next to him?
No, because the right guard on the inside should be stopping that from happening. The right guard's sort of almost pushing him into Colby.
All right, this next one.
Again, I do agree he does run over it a bit, but his right guard is also not kind of sustaining that block very well.
That makes sense. Pass block, nice kick out here once again. Waits for the defensive end to make the first move and then locks him up. So showing good patience here, because often if you try and initiate the first contact, you overreach, means your balance is slightly off, means that your defender's got an easy job to beat you here. So shows really good patience with this one. Kicks out really well, waits for the move, and that was the move that he tried to do earlier, the feint inside and then out. Really nice work to make that stop, and William and Mary are already inside the red zone again. And then the very last play of this game that we're going to watch for Colby, and then I'll briefly go on to the next game. Engages and drives impressively to create gap with good leverage here. So you can see it's a heavier set than normal with a tight end outside him here. Blocks his guy. And just really impressive how long he can sustain that block with power. And the running back, who's one of the best running backs in the nation, by the way, this guy. He's got a transfer to, I want to say Cal this year to be a backup in the FBS. But he became William and Mary's leading all-time rusher this year. So here's some pedigree there. I just can't remember his name. But anyway, that's the last play of this game that I took a look at.
It sort of sometimes get repetitive saying it, but he's underneath. Got the leverage. Win the battle.
So this guy here is Colby. Hits his guy, turns him, holds him. Excellent.
Yep. That's just good. That's just good technique.
Moving on to the next game, which is this Montana State game, and bearing in mind that William and Mary get blown out here. It's 55-7 when the game finishes, I think. And I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 reps to show you on this one, and then we're going to move on. And the first one is the very first play of the game. Nice aggression and leverage to create hole here. So he's at the top of the offensive line here in white and yellow. I just feel like he has to have some sort of wrestler background in him, because the power he's able to generate from just his arms is really impressive here. And in lots of the reps that we've seen.
You know exactly what I'm going to say.
Malcolm.
No, not Malcolm. It's pads. Watch. Again. Just watch how he's underneath and he's leveraging the guy away. I kind of get fed up of saying this. There you go. You see him. You can see him arcing right away. He's got him underneath and he's just tossing him around like a lawn dart. It's
impressive. It's just impressive. And it's consistent.
It is. You know, I try to be comprehensive in my evaluation here, but sometimes you just have to state the obvious. This is what you're seeing. And that's exactly what you're seeing with him.
All right. So one of the things about this game is that because William and Mary get blown out, they're actually not on offense a lot here, which is a shame. Both of these teams came in as rushing attacks, so Montana State 5th in the nation in rushing offense, and William and Mary 2nd in the FCS. So both teams were expected to come out and run the ball hard. Montana State's defense was just excellent in this game and really bottled them up. I think that through 1.5 quarters, William and Mary had 15 yards of offense total. So it was a rough outing for them. But here we go. Crash left and drives his man back a long way here. So goes into his man and just drives and drives and drives. He ends up being 7 yards back by the time the defender wins.
That's the power I want to see from him. For a guy, I've not seen it as much here so far, just the straight up dominance over some guys. But yeah, that's what you want to see. But
I know that the linebacker's trying to work back to the plays. He's trying to fill the lane. He doesn't mind if he gets driven back, really, as long as he can fill a gap.
And there's not much he can do on that play. It's not going down his side of the line. He does his assignment. It's blown on the other side of the line.
All right. So the next set for them, run block here. Again, nice aggression and leverage, wrestling-y sort of ability to create the hole inside here. So no one outside him. Just gets under his pads again. Ends up twisting him as soon as he can. It's all about getting your man perpendicular to the play, because if you keep the block straight, the man can just let an arm out of the block and he might be able to bring his guy down. You see nose tackles do that all the time, but he doesn't allow his guy to have any chance whatsoever in these reps. 13:53. And I got exactly the same note for this, so we'll see what happens. Got a tight end outside him this time, but that one's almost silly.
Again, on the right shoulder, underneath, just leverages him to the outside. This is just really damn good play.
This is why I said wrestling, though, because he's almost tossing him here. It's not even necessarily leverage as it is just straight bullying.
Yeah. And it's just one hand. With one hand, bunk, out you go.
This one is interesting, and I struggle to diagnose it, so I would welcome your thoughts on this. My note says, appears to run right past the block and get to the second... Oh, hang on. Appears to run right past his assignment.
I want that hat.
I think the play starts right now, and you don't really get to see...
Whoever that Grizzlies fan is, that hat is cool. Oh, hang on, I missed the start there. Sorry. You're my analysis. I'm not even looking at the play. I'm just admiring the hat.
Right. So
I can see him. I've got him. Through the first tackle.
I think that his guy is the guy he runs past, because there's no one else for him to block here.
Let's have a look. No.
Actually,
notice how the linebacker moves outside, not in.
So his guy's the linebacker, and he ends up just blocking space.
Because watch his head. He's gone. He's looking at him. He's like, "Where the hell are you going?"
Yeah.
Because what's that linebacker doing? Why is he going that way? He's like, he's miles away from the play. And I think that's just a bad play from the linebacker, and Colby just looks silly because he's got no one there. But his guy's just like gone off for a Sunday stroll. Just like, nah, can't be asked for this play.
All right, this one, I had a similar note to it, which is why I started reading it by mistake. Appears to run past block, gets to the second level, but no one's there. So this could be very similar to the previous one in terms of looking a bit silly, but it's not his fault. But we'll see. So second man in from the bottom here.
Through the gap. Yeah.
Again, it's just the
linebacker goes outside again.
Yeah.
The linebacker, I don't know whether the linebacker's sort of chancing it, that the running back is going to sort of double take and come back, but
yeah, maybe he's guessing.
That's not on Colby. That's not on Colby. That's just the linebacker being a bit of a swine.
So this is a really good one. Second to last play with Colby that we're going to look at. Crash left, blocks one off, gets to the second level and blocks them off too. So here we go.
Oh, well, Ken says it's a foam hat. 1, 2. good technique. Ah, but his guy makes the play. Imagine he can't really come back and do it on that, so I'm gonna let that slide. That is two good sustained blocks. One, two. The running back's held up, so he shouldn't really be holding it for that long.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
good
If
hustle from the defender.
it's all blown up before it's even a factor, really. But I think he does good work there. Right, last one. Snap's already gone. Hang on. So this one is a bit cheap for me to include this, but there we go. So gets rocked back by an unexpected player and can't recover, which is a factor because his recovery is really good. So I thought it was notable to show one rep where he can't recover. Gives up pressure on key third down. Flagged for a hold here as well. So
They're gonna try a. Oh, guy comes from the inside. Yeah, that's. I'd be interested to see that again.
he doesn't expect his guy to be the one coming at him. That's the thing. So
If this is the
he kicks back.
inside.
He expects the outside guy. It's the inside guy who beats him, and then he ends up holding him. Doesn't give up the sack there, but that must have been a pressure on him.
You see the edge, again. Sort of. This is where the problem has been a tall guy. The edge gets hands on him, gets underneath, and just sort of levers him off. Just watch how he gets his hands and levers him off. It's not him; it's the guy in the middle, isn't it?
So that's Colby.
Yeah.
That's the outside linebacker. This is the D end that he's expecting to block. He wants to block this guy here, but ends up having to take this guy who just beats him. Kicks out. He's looking at that guy and ends up getting contacted by the person who was probably his assignment all along.
Yeah, guy gets underneath. Again, you're sort of at a whim there. He's got the rush on you. He's got the momentum underneath. You're pushed off. You lose your balance. Note to do then, but try and grab it. Well, not grab it. Grab a jersey.
So that's the end of the reps I'm going to show for Colby at this point. It's 17-0. I did end up watching all the way through to, I don't know, I think it was 27-0 in the end, and then I gave up. There wasn't a huge amount left that we haven't already seen. And you hadn't seen a lot of him from before, so just give some high-level takes about what we've just seen.
I like the technique. I love the get-off. The get-off for me is almost elite in the way that we've sort of highlighted how quick he gets into stance. So with guys his size, like I say, problem is usually going to be speed rushers, guys who are going to try and get like the first foot on him. They're going to try and do him on the first step. But he's so quick, he's into stance and he's prepared for it, which means that it's not as much of an issue for him as you would think. And, again, the grappling, the leverage, you can see it all there. Now, of course, you have to temper it with the level of opposition. Again, Montana State, very good team. Gardner-Webb, good team. But at the FCS level, you're going to have guys who are just going to be bigger, faster, stronger at the next level that you're going to have to deal with. But again, it's all about the technique as a lineman. And for the very most part of the plays you see there, the technique is spot on. Now, you see there are issues, but fifth round pick, you're going to get it. Overall, he's got what you need. Just need to refine it, and he's got Hank Fraley to teach him up there. So when they'll know what the issues are with his game. And again, even the stuff he's good at, he'll need to keep getting better. But again, the things that I like are the things that, I think are really going to hold him in good stead. I can see them using him a lot, especially in the running game.
So here's what I really like about him in year one. I think I've seen enough in terms of his run blocking ability, his ability to pull, and his ability to get off the line, that I think there's a reasonable chance he's going to be the sixth offensive lineman this year. When they bring in a sixth man for the offensive line, it might not be Matt Nelson, it might be Colby. Because he's got the technique necessary to do it, and he's got the speed that you want at that position as well. So, potential. And Geordie has just said it. He's literally just said it as I was saying it. He's got the ability to do that, so definitely he could get there. But also, in terms of being the future right guard, I think you can see that the ceiling is there for him. Now, we just said Zach Tom can't be the best offensive tackle in the NFL. That's not his ceiling. And Colby isn't going to be the best right guard in the NFL either. But in terms of Strength in terms of technique, in terms of understanding what the player is trying to achieve, and therefore using his body to leverage and block out where the running lanes are. He's got a football IQ that you can't teach. And so that's really important for what he's trying to do, especially with the move into inside. You can see in a lot of the reps that William and Mary play with a tight end, which is actually something that I don't think you necessarily see a lot of college anymore, especially at the FBS level where you have lots of spread offenses and that sort of thing. So he's got people either side of him quite a lot. He's used to doing that. So making the transition inside should be absolutely fine. The odd play here and there, he can't sustain a block for more than 3 seconds, which is a bit worrying. He shows he can do it, but it's inconsistent, and he can overrun little bits and pieces. And if he's got an assignment, he kind of can prioritize that over ad-libbing a bit when the situation requires it. But that is, even though he's a 5-year player, he's still not that experienced. I think what he's played 1,800 reps total. Like, that's not a lot of snaps. So, that's 2 NFL years he's played.
Yeah.
He's still inexperienced.
See, in year 1, I'd like to not kick him inside. We don't need him inside this year. We've got Hal, we've got Glasgow, we've still got Stenberg for the time being. I would give him a go at tackle because, as people in the chat are rightly saying, Nelson's trash and we need to get better. This guy can legally wrestle. Nelson cannot legally wrestle. But
I guess I would say if they see his long-term future in a position, I'd rather they start training him now at that so that he gets the leg up for next year, because he might be the starter next year at right guard.
I do, but I would use him. I think, again,
cross-train.
The speed that you see from the get-off, all that suits him better at tackle. When you're at guard and you've got that, it's not, you don't need it as much.
It's not as important, yeah.
No, and I would play to his strengths. I would use that speed and that versatility and the way, like you said, he can cut off running lanes so easy, and you can do that much more effectively as a tackle going onto the edge. I mean, by all means, if you go use him as guard and pull him, fine. But I would try him at swing. I would give him a go because he can't be worse than Paolo.
He can't be worse than Paolo. That's definitely true. Lions 1960. That's Brent. He says, I really like the way you guys show the good, the bad, and the ugly of players, not just highlighting the good stuff. Great job, guys. Stuff about Nelson there from Geordie and Brent and Lisa. And Martin says, nice deep dive, guys. Cheers. And thanks, Martin, for watching. And we are now moving on to Brodric Martin. I'll just bring up his graphic again for you guys here. Brodric Martin played 14 games last year, got 2 sacks and 23 pressures and a PFF grade of 71.9. RAS grade of 2.14, but that's actually pretty good, I think, for a nose tackle. You can see his season grades there. Didn't play too much in his first 3 years at Northern Alabama or in his first year at Western Kentucky, only 293 reps, but career high 500 reps last year, split evenly between run defense and pressure. And you can see all of his grades across the board were green: defense, run defense, tackling, pressure, and coverage as well. 22 pressures. He only had 7 before in a season, so that was really good. 2 sacks. He'd only had 3 before, and that was in his first year as a starter at North Alabama. So very good from him, and a 5.7% missed tackle rate as well, which is exceptional for a person on the inside. And you've been taking the lead on Broderick, so why don't you just tell us a little bit about him from what you've seen?
Yeah, so with these D tackles, you really need to. This is the position more than any. You've got to deep dive down into the tape to really see what they're capable of. Because coming into this, I was very suspicious. Bring up the PFF graphic again, if you may, very quickly for me. So just to put it into perspective, this Western Kentucky team last year, they were a good side, had one of the best passing offenses in the nation, but they had a weakness. The 5 games that they lost last year, Indiana and Auburn, that's away at Power 5 schools. But to be fair, and in fairness, he had a really good game against Indiana, but they are not really the cream of the crop of the Big Ten right now. But then the other 3, so you've got Troy, UTSA, and North Texas. And the thing these guys had in common, Troy won the Sun Belt, UTSA just went back-to-back winning the CUSA, and North Texas were the other team in the championship game in the CUSA. So it was coming up against the better teams that this team struggled. And I mean, you look at some of the stats in those games, he registers outside of the Indiana game, like 3 pressures in the rest of the games. The pass rush is not there. You know, there are grades which are a little lower on the season for some of them. And just looking at it, you think, that's not great. And then when you come into the UTSA game itself, I mean, UTSA absolutely dominated them. It was only 31-28, but for the most part, UTSA had the lead for the vast majority of it. They made a bit of a comeback in the fourth, but it was never really sort of in danger, the result there for them. You look at the Western Kentucky stats in this game, they had no sacks, 3 tackles for loss, which were all in the running game, not in the pass rush game. They had a 7% run stuff rate, which is 0 percentile, a 4% havoc rate, which is only 7th percentile. And UTSA dropped nearly 500 yards and 220 on the ground on them. And you put all those stats in, you're like, oh my God, this is going to be a bit of a mare. But actually, when I've watched through this tape, nearly every single play Brodrick's in, something's happening. And I can absolutely see why they have gone for him here. So if we start off, let's get down into it, and we'll show you the best of him here. So go to 20 seconds in first. This will be the second play, but this is going to be a pass play. You're going to see the strength one-on-one that you're going to have against the center here. He's effectively going to get triple teamed, but what you want to see from your nose tackles, your D tackles, is the ability to get pressured. I mean, the ability to push back. You want to get this. So just play the tag and just see how strong he is. It takes 3 guys really to stop him here. So he's off the snap. The center's in trouble with him, and both guards have to come in from the side. You'll see a lot of these better in the side-on views that you'll see in a moment from back. But you watch him get off. The center is going to have a lot of trouble with him, and both guards are going to come in and have to help. You see the win there. The pass is out, but
what I love about this play is the hand fighting, because the centre makes a really good move with his hands and he swipes them away. I've slowed it down here.
And this so look, you've got the hands there. He swipes around. He's in. The left guard pushes. The right guard tries to get involved. That's 3 guys who are dedicated to him here. And we're going to show you some plays where he's not in this team. And you're going to see how they do it otherwise. This UTSA offensive line is really good. They've just won the CUSA 2 years in a row. This is one of the best teams. It is the best team in the division by far, and they run like crazy. You had Sincere McCormack 2 years ago. Frank Harris, the quarterback, is damn good. So this is a great team he's playing against. Now, I love this play, and this is where you really have to deep dive down and say, you're not going to see anything initially. So this is going to be a run play. He's going to take on the left guard, and he's going to end up on the wrong side of the play. So he's going to end up away from the runner where he wants to be, trying to block the running lane. But what he does, he overpowers the left guard and pushes him back, because a little gap appears that the running back goes to hit, and he actually pushes the left guard into that rushing lane, which forces the running back into a tackle. Otherwise, he's gone. So just play the first one here. Yeah. You might not see anything.
My notes are exactly the same as yours on this one.
So watch that. The running back goes through. You don't see anything there. You think, oh, the run's stuffed. There's not much going on there. But right, I want to play this in slow-mo, if you will.
Comment.
And this is where you really have... This is where they do dirty... Oh, just stop it a minute while I go back to the start. All right. I just want to sort of set this up. So this is where with D tackles and nose tackles, I did the same with Aleem 2 years ago. You have to look for the little things they do, because these guys don't get any sort of credit for these things. But as a D lineman, in the trenches, you have to show power and you have to show your ability to affect a play. So play it through on slow. He is going to be on the wrong side of the ball here. And then I want you to stop it. Stop here. So look there, 77 and 58. You can see the gap just beginning to appear. They're double teaming on the edge. He's on the inside, and just watch. Martin is going to power him into that lane. He is going to bounce off 58 right into the waiting arms of one of the other defenders. Just play it through. See, bounced off. In he goes, straight in. If Brodrick gets overpowered there, or even if he just stays still, that gap is going to remain open enough for the running back to go right to the house on that play. It's just the little things. He overpowers his man and he just makes this little subtle movement on the play, which helps stop a big play from happening.
It's one of the reps I love the most because, and actually, it's something I think you'll see throughout this game. Brodrick realizes quite quickly sometimes when he can't win and finds other ways to impact plays. It's one of the things I like about him the most.
And this hustle, I
Yeah.
love the guy's hustle. This is one of the big things. So, but you just see how on first view, it looks like he doesn't do anything. But when you stop and watch what he's doing, he gets the leverage, he forces his man back. Now, this is a great play if you stop it just before it happens. So this is what I call a Jekyll and Hyde play here. So it's a pass play. You're going to see him bounce off the double team. Harris is going to move out the pocket. You are going to see Martin, and this is one of many examples. You're going to see him hustle incredibly well to stay in the throw-in lane. Stays there with discipline as well. Harris then decides he's going to run the ball, and Brodrick whiffs horrendously on the tackle. I'm not going to lie, he sticks an arm out and goes past. So you're going to see the good and you're going to see the bad here. So just play it through.
I disagree with you, but we'll talk about it when we come to the end.
So he bounces off the double team. This is a 330-pound man. Hustle, 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 sticks his arm out, goes right past him. I'm sorry, but I'm going to expect my tackle to make that there. So you can see it from here. He bounces off the double teams. He's not going to get the pass rush there, but look how he keeps playing. Look how he keeps hustling.
The pad level not great.
Harris goes in the passing lane, Harris dives down inside. He sticks a weak arm out. I would expect him to snag him there. And I don't think that's unfair. But I like what he does. This is a 330-pound man. And Frank Harris is a damn good quarterback who can move. And he stays, look, he's in the lane, all three of them. He's trying his best to stay in the throwing lanes. Harris is looking up, where can I pass it? Big guy's bearing down on him. So, and at worst, he'll force him inside into a tackle. But...
So that is what I was going to point out. This is what I think when it comes to football IQ, because I think Brodrick is a really smart guy. Brodrick can see his guy in front of him on the inside. So for me, I think Brodrick is running this thinking, where's the threat? And I think the threat is that quarterback running on the outside, because Brodrick doesn't know what's behind him, but I think he can reliably think, I'll probably have defenders behind me who can block the inside if he cuts it back. But if he runs on the outside, God knows how much it might go for. So I think that Brodrick is thinking about where the threat is here. And then when he's slightly overrun it, you just said this is a 300 and whatever pound guy he is. The quarterback just jukes slightly inside, changes the angle, and you want him to stop on a dime and make the tackle. Like, I feel like it's really harsh.
No, I want him to make the tackle with his arm. Look, sticks it out and it just lets him go past. I think that's soft, and I don't think that's... But at the end of the day, he makes the play he needs to, and I love the hustle with it. The next one, so if you just stop it before, this is the thing I love most about the tackles, and it's something very, very simple. It's getting the leverage, the ability to engage your man, locate the ball, disengage, and make the play. I said this forever about Lee McNeil when he came out, what he could do, the ability... You know, he'd be grappling with 1-2 guys. He'd locate the ball carrier, disengage, just brings him down. This is a run stop, so just watch it through. Engage, disengage, find the guy. There he is, brings him down. It's very simple, but it's what I want to see from a DTs. You see too many D tackles who get held up and look, in he goes, sees the runner, off he comes, big tackle, brings him down. It's just the simple things that I like to see from him. And he gets the good pad level in here, which stops him. See, look, he's underneath.
What I love about this rep is where I've just paused it, he's on the right-hand side as we're looking at it. The defender is on the left-hand side of him, and he knows the running back is probably coming that side. But Brodrick is so strong, he manages to actually get to where the running lane is and just falls on him. Like,
it's a very simple thing with DTs, and it's something that I love to see from them.
It's really good two-gapping technique. He's not trying to penetrate. He gives up a yard or two of position, but he maintains the ability to go right or left to make a tackle.
And then you're going to see exactly the same here. So he nearly gets done for a false start, which he doesn't. But again, this is an example of engage, disengage, making a play on the runner. This time it's the quarterback, and he's going to tackle him from behind and help bring him down. And Harris is quick. So again, just watch how much he hustles. So engage, disengage, quarterback grabbed him, brings him down. He makes it look like he's 260 pounds here. But he's always in a position where he locates the ball and then he makes a play on the ball carrier. And as a DT, especially a guy who's going to initially come in to help us against the run, this is what you've got to have. It reminds me so much of a Liam. Look, block, sees the runner going, out he comes, snags him with a big paw. And that's why, that one I criticized earlier, he snags him with one paw and brings him down there. That's the kind of strength he has, and that's what I see a bit more consistently for him.
I guess what I would say is that one that was criticised in particular, he's doing it on the move at his weight, whereas that one he's
doing it on the move. He's coming back, but
yeah. I know.
People may disagree, and I agree. But so again here, so this is a pass play. You're going to see he is seemingly out of the pass play, but just again watch the hustle to get back and help finish off the tackle. It's minor in the end, but I want to see my guys really hustling out on the play. So there you'll see, pass goes out wide. He's not in it, but watch him. Hustle. Coming back. Who's on top of him when he goes down? It's Brodric Martin all the way back there.
He's the second guy to the man, and he's gone 10, 15 yards. He shouldn't be the next man.
And this is your 330-pound tackle. He's not in. And look, there he is on top of the ball. He's always looking to be a part of this. And again, it seems very minor. I'm showing you a player doesn't do much, but it's all showing about the hustle. That in the NFL, that could be a guy who's broke a tackle there. And there he is. He's going to finish the playoff for you.
I just want to say a couple of things here, by the way. We're using tape from Caddy's Cut-Ups here. I haven't actually shouted them out. It's a subscription service on Patreon. I think the minimum level is $3 a month at the moment, but they provide tape for guys 2022 through 2024 and beyond. They do nice little cut-up videos like this. The majority of their videos have this broadcast angle and then the end zone angle as well. So if you do like watching tape, it's well worth your time to invest in that. You can get all this good stuff even for someone who was meant to be a day 3 pick, even though obviously we took him in day 2. And the other thing is just, if you're enjoying this content, you like this video, please don't forget to give us a like on the YouTube. And there's obviously the ways that you guys can show your appreciation via Twitch or YouTube with the super chats or donation buttons or what have you. So if there's anything like that, then we really appreciate that, because it helps us do this or do some fun stuff when we get to Detroit for the draft. Sorry, Ant.
Nope, that's fine. So we're going to see a couple of plays now that he's not actually going to be in, but this is just to prove the point of kind of the job he's doing in this defense. So you go to 355 and then play the next 2 plays after that. UTSA, he's not on the field at this point. They're showing the plays where he's not on, but I actually kind of enjoyed this because...
Sorry, what am I doing? I Can Help redeemed me to hydrate, so I had to take a drink. Sorry, say again where I'm going.
Go to 355. You're going to see 2 plays where they're going to start dissecting them up the middle here because Brodric's not actually on the field. So this just goes to show you what impact he has on that D-line, because they're putting 2-3 men on him per time. But look at the middle, straight up. Now, it's not a big gap there, but you're going to look at what the guys are doing and watch this center. He's really good. Watch how he completely bullies the guy who's there. Under him, forces him out the way. The gap appears. That just doesn't happen when Brodric's on the field. And then the next play, Frank Harris is going to come in for a touchdown here. Again, I love Frank Harris as a quarterback. He gets into space, you're done. Look at the center again, just out the way. The guy who's in there is not trying to locate the ball. He's just too busy trying to make a tackle. This is what separates the good DTs from the bad ones. Watching those tackles just run straight in here. He's not trying to locate the ball. He's too busy just trying to win the play. Harris
Frankly,
is gone.
he's not big enough to see past the center. He can't see where the play is.
And this is where they just start gashing them down the middle when he's not around. So that just goes to show you, this is what Brodric's doing against a really good team. And it just sort of shows you how great he's doing there. So next one, 450.
Yeah, that's this.
So here you're going to see. So this looks like he gets moved a lot by the center, but you're actually going to see him get bumped twice by both guards. UTSA, like I say, are focusing a lot on him, but what it does, it creates space for a tackle for loss. So he's impacting the game even when he's not making plays in there. So this will be seen better from the second view, but just run it. It looks like the center gets quite a grip on him here and sort of moves him around. You see him there, off he goes, he's getting out the way, but he gets bumped twice. And what this means, because, and if you stop it here, just before I do this, I talked earlier about Sorsdal, about how when you come in to sort of chip block a guy, you've got to get back out to deal with your actual assignment. And what you're going to see here, the left guard's going to come in and chip him, but he's going to go in really aggressively on him. 29, who's in the back there, the linebacker, comes in and he deals with him one-on-one, but because he's not set properly, an extra rush is going to come through and blow the play dead because he's effectively taken 3 guys out in the middle. So if you play it, center comes in, he's going to get bumped by both guards. See 1, 2, and you see how they overload because they've sent so much for him in the middle. The left guard can't even make an attempt to block the second guy and the play blows up. So because they're focusing so much on him, it's creating opportunity for others. And you weren't seeing that when he wasn't on the field. They were sort of just dissecting it apart because they weren't using so many guys on him because he wasn't there. Hang on, where have we got next?
So the next play is stunting around the edge.
I've got the 5-18 one. He tries to pass rush around the left tackle, but the ball's out before he gets there. But he can do it.
But this is the one example of him trying to do this. So starts at the nose or the one technique and comes all the way around the outside.
The first step is very... Look at that. On it goes. It's out very quickly, but you can see Elim again did this in college. You know, North Carolina State used him in this role, but the ball's just out very quickly. But I love the first step. It's very exaggerated, but up one, out he goes. And, you know, if he has to hold on to that for any amount of time, he's getting there. So, again, you're just seeing what he is capable of. Then we've got a whole lot of nothing until 11:08. So he's not actually highlighted in this one, but he is in it.
Yes, right in the middle.
This is the space eating ability you see here. Nothing again particular, but you're looking, how does he do when he's under pressure in the middle? Can he eat space? Can he impact the run game? And he battles very hard. You know, this is kind of more of an effort thing you see here. So you can see him just to the center. I mean, look, he's right in that play. He's right in the thick of things. Again, double teamed. But you want to see... So they're
having to account for him every time he's on the field and they take advantage of when he's not.
So, again, 3 guys on him. He gets chipped a little and then the right tackle comes in and lays a blow on him as well. But, you know, he's eating space. The running back does not go in that direction because he's there space eating. So it was just a little thing that popped out. But I just love a lot of things about him here. He goes, so if we go to 15:07 now, this is an example of him getting double teamed, but I love his aggression in this. He gets under the pads of the left guard and really gives him hell. This is, you know, you need to see this from your DTs. I think it's the center and the left guard who get him here, but you're going to see him underneath. He's aggressive. He takes no crap from these guys. This is just something I like to see from here. So you see twice in there. But again, a lot of these are better from the other view, but you're just going to see him. He almost gives a stiff arm to the left guard here. I just love his aggression that he uses while he's on the line. Take a little bit of time, but... So 2 guys on him, the aggression there. Look how he's under the left guard. He's under his pads, forcing him back, got the leverage on him, and that's in a double team. So you've been double teamed by the center and the left guard, and you've still got the leverage over the guy. It's, again, not impacting the play, but if it is, stuff I want to see from him. And then this is where he lines up at the 5 tech. So this is the issue here, obviously, which is going to have the pass rushing needs a lot of work in the long run. I mean, he's not going to come here to be a pass rusher first and foremost. He's like a Liam. He's got a lot of potential to do so, but you can see The strength and the power, again, he gets double teamed off the edge here. But you can see there's no finesse. He's not got the pass rush arsenal of an edge rusher yet. But that's not on him. That's going to come over time. But again, I love the aggression against the double team. But this is where you can see it's going to take time. He's forcing them both back, but there's no speciality move there.
It's all bull rush.
Yeah. But it's good bull rush.
Oh, yeah.
You know, they can't deal with him. They're having to assign 2 men to him again. If they bring a blitz in there, look at that. That's the left tackle and the left guard who are out with him. So he's relentless. And they played nearly 80 defensive snaps in this, and it was 79, and he's on the field for 46. So for a 330-pound nose-ish tackle, he's playing more than 50% snaps in this game. He's got a motor on him. That's quite a fair bit for his position. So there's a long period there. Right, so we're going to go to 2030 now. So watch how so this is a play. He's going to get, I've put in my notes here, he gets Bermuda triangled out of this. But if you watch this very slowly, he's going to be blocked in by 3 guys in a triangular formation around him. The center, the left guard, and the right guard sort of comes around the back of him and lays a little bit of a hit on him as well. But look how much space it creates for his teammates. He's under the center's pads, so the technique's right, but the space it creates for his teammates is just because they're focusing on him. The flag comes in, but they're just not worried about the flag. It's not on him. So play it in slow-mo when it comes from the back view. I
have a feeling
like
that they don't show
does.
a back view for this one.
They do. They show the same play twice.
No, they don't.
They do. This is exactly the same play. They show this twice. I don't know why, but I think they've just put in 2 lots. This is going to be the same play again. You see him here, and then it's the same run play. So if you play it slow, so it's going to be the center and the left guard. He's going to get underneath the center and get the leverage on him. But then you're going to see the right guard come in as well. But there's a space I want you to see. This is just to show the space it creates for his teammates. So stop. Look there. He's got the left guard pushing on his shoulder. He's underneath the center creating pressure. And the right guard's coming around him. That's why I call it the Bermuda Triangle. But look at the running back coming on the outside. 1 is unblocked. 3 is unblocked. His teammates have all the space in the world to go and make the play here, because look how much they're having to focus on containing him. I mean, you could even argue there's a 4th guy in there as well, because, you know, they're all around him. And watch the running back come through now, and his teammates can make a play. This is, they don't get credit for this. He comes in, makes the tackle. Just look how much resource they're having to focus containing him. And this is one of the league's best offensive lines at this point. It's just great play from it. This is what you want from your D tackle. Space eater, man eater, create opportunities for your teammates. That's what these noses do, which people don't really appreciate. Now, this next play, I love this play, and I'm not going to be taught otherwise. This is nothing to do with him. This is a touchdown run on the next play, but this is from the 5. So bearing in mind, he does not have much room to work with here. But again, I love the effort. So off the snap, you're going to get under the center's pads, which allows him to shake the center off, make a play on the running back. He stuffs the running back. He actually stops him in his tracks. Unfortunately for him, 2 of his UTSA teammates come and bulldoze him over the line, but this is not on Brodrick. This is wonderful run defense in the 5, and he's let down by his teammates here. Again, this looks bad. You look at that. What you're seeing there? I'm not seeing anything, but play it in slow-mo again. So just watch and appreciate what he's doing here. He's going to get under the center's pads, which means he can disengage and make a play on the running back. And he's not got much space to work with. So look, underneath, pushing him back, disengage, stop it, stop. He's got him stopped. He's got his hands on the running back. He has stuffed him. He is not going anywhere in such a short amount of space. That is great. But look how the 2 guys pile in afterwards, and his teammates do not help him at all.
He's got 2 guys there beforehand, but they're static by the time they get there.
There's no one providing push for him there, but that is wonderful technique there from Brodrick.
I think the thing that just needs to be made plain with that play is if Brodrick is 1-gapping, he's been utterly destroyed because he's been pushed back a yard on the play. But Brodrick gives up a yard because he's two-gapping so that he can stop the running back, get to the end zone, which is the point here. So he starts at the 3. And Martin actually ends up coming back to the 2 here before he makes the play, but he's able to get that arm out there. And the 3 and the 11 should be able to just make the tackle now.
But look, he's making the play on the running back, and he's got the centre under his arm, and he is still static. He is not getting moved. He is anchored there, and this is within 5 yards. And again, to beat the centre, get off him, and make the play on the running back is what he needs to do. His teammates let him down there. But if I want a guy in a red zone situation where I'm going to trust him to do that, that's great. That's exactly what I want to see from him, and his teammates let him down badly. So, yeah, this play as well I want to see is at 22:03. So this is, if we stop it before, this is the hustle side of him. So if he's not involved in the play, I want to see the hustle from him. So the pass rush, it doesn't work. I've got to explain this quickly first. So you're going to see here an attempt at a pass rush, then he's going to run block, then he's going to pass block. And again, we're going to need to play this in slow-mo because you don't see it instantly. So he's going to try and pass rush. It doesn't work. Then he sees Frank Harris, who spots a running lane. He will go to shut down the running lane. Frank Harris then moves out to the perimeter, and he sprints with him to try and get in the passing lane and stop him from passing the ball. So play the first one. You'll see. You might not see it right away, but you have to see these subtle nuances from the back. So he tries to pass rush. Harris comes back. He's going to try and hit the gap, and then hustle. Out he goes. Harris has to throw it out. So if we look at it from the back.
I'm surprised that someone does this well, by the way, given his weight, because he changes direction twice on that and has the agility to make it work. I thought he'd have a better 3-cone than this, because he's really good.
He is. And this is why I like this. So you're going to watch him do the pass rush. So play it slow. So the pass rush doesn't work. So keep it going. Harris goes. Stop. So Harris is coming back. So now you've got a possible rushing lane between 68, 55, 61 there. There is space. Watch how he comes back in, expecting to make the play there. Harris turns round, and then he's off to the next perimeter. And you see the hustle from him. 3:30. He's meeting some of his teammates out there, but you're trying to pass rush. You are trying to block the quarterback running the ball, and then you're trying to make a play on the perimeter. And again, for a 330-pound guy, that's hustle. I'm starting to see why they like him now, because he doesn't give up on plays. He doesn't just stand there and go, well, my pass rush didn't work. I'm not doing anything else. He makes 3 separate attempts to make a play on there. And it's just very subtle things like that you don't see initially, but you can clearly see him trying to make a play on Harris when he tries to run. And Harris is like, nah, I'm gone.
This next one is one that I've seen a couple of times in different plays from him, but it's one of my favourites.
So yeah, this again is, if I remember right, 22:40 we're at. This is another hustle play. So you get under the guard's pads, meaning that he can release. I've said this a million times now, but when the quarterback goes running, he can't catch him, but he runs him out of play. He doesn't give Harris an opportunity to cut in and go down the field. He runs into one of his perimeter defenders and has to rush out. Just watch the hustle for a 330-pound man. Love it. But again, watch the leverage initially. Underneath, under his shoulder, and then run. Out he goes. Harris has nowhere to go. He can't cut inside. He runs into a gap. But here, watch the technique first against the lineman. He's under there. He's got him. And now he's gone. Let's go, because he's got that leverage advantage and he's gone.
I can't believe they didn't get pinged for a late hit there, by the way. But Martin's hustle is so good. There's several times in this game where he can't get to the quarterback, but he stops the quarterback cutting back inside. And that can be a touchdown-saving thing.
Yeah, but again, he has no right to that. He's a 330-pound guy. You've seen him win on the line, and then you see him make the play as well. You see him keep trying. And again, this is what I love. There are little things in there, but this can be coached. I love what I'm seeing, and this is nearly every play is on the field. We're not skipping plays he's in. Every play, there's something happening, which is just what really sort of got me as we kept going on. It's like, and is there a play where he's in where just nothing happens?
There's quite a few comments by William in the chat from various plays talking about slight disagreements with our analysis, but I don't know whether
Well, William's an actual coach, so
yeah,
he knows. William kind of knows what he's on about. But I say what I see. I always do,
yeah.
and that's what I'm going with. But
But
I'm
Brent
not
says,
blaming
am
him
I
for
wrong, or am I mainly seeing mistakes that can be coached up?
No.
Yeah.
Again, you watch this tape, and so much of it is similar to what Aleem is. I mean, Aleem's a little leaner and a little faster, and I think is a better pass rusher. But you can respect. I see a lot of him in him, and I know why they like him now, because he can take the same approach with him. You use him as a run guy to start with, and then you start developing the pass game, and you can maybe push him out a little bit. Brodric Martin up a little, but I just love what I see. Again, it's every sort of play, and then when he's not on the field, it's just so much more noticeable how dominant that UTSA offensive line is when Broderick's not there. So we go to 26:53 now. He is not infallible. This is a play that he loses. The right guard does get under him. It happens, but we show the good and the bad. But this is a good offensive line, and I'm surprised he didn't lose more reps in this game. So he's going to come across. Right guard sort of under him there, just levers him out the way. Hey, it happens. It's college football. You ain't going to win every single rep. And he kind of adjusts slightly at the last second. So I'm not sure whether that just throws him off. You see the adjustment there.
It reminds me of a play where we were just looking at Colby Sorsdal and what he was able to do to someone. And that's kind of what happened to him just then.
And he just sort of blocks him out. But that happens. Sometimes it happens. And again, this is going to be another hustle play to run Harris out of bounds. And Harris is not slow. So just again, Harris has nowhere to go but run into a perimeter defender and go out of bounds. This is a 330-pound man. Watch him go. He's got an advantage on him. Hustle, hustle, hustle. Who's the guy there? He's got to go.
Because if he's not there, he cuts in field and he's getting a massive gain.
Yeah, and that's your 330 nose tackle. And he's got a yard on him. And just look how quickly he comes across and shuts off any potential rushing lane for Harris to drop into. Straight into the perimeter defender, and he's got to go. I just love it. This is what I want to see from my DTs. I want to see hustle. I want to see how you can impact a play, even if you're not doing naturally what you're meant to do. And that's what he does. He's so quick. So after this, I've got a few. So here's a couple where he does get beaten by double teams. So what are we on now? 28 exactly?
Yeah.
So he gets knocked to ground by a double team here. But again, it happens. But there are a couple of examples here, and he's going to have to get used to it at the NFL
this
level.
One is this one is almost potentially a block in the back.
Yeah. But the right guard just come in and lays a hit on him. But again, you see with Aleem, they take up so much attention. The right guard just comes and shoves him.
I actually think this is a block in the back, and I didn't think this looking at it the first time, but watch the back angle here and look at where the right guard actually contacts him. I think he's slightly turned and he's got his back to him. But let's just have a look at that again. No, I think that's potentially a penalty. It's close.
It's close. But again, noses are going to have this happen to them. The amount of times he's been double and triple teamed in this, and he's not really lost here. And then you're going to see another one here where he gets maneuvered by a double team. And he's going to have to something he's going to have to work on a little bit. But the examples are so few and far between that I don't really mind. And again, he's taking up time on here. It's one of the few times they sort of look in his direction and maybe think they're having a go at it. But it's... I can't really critique too much. The double teams happen. This is a really good offensive line that's just going to beat you sometimes. See, 1, 2, in he goes, shoves him out the way. There's not a lot you can do about it.
The thing is, he actually gets good leverage on the guy he's got contact with. If it's a one-on-one, he wins the rep. The second guy comes in and he's stretching a little bit, and I just can't win that.
This guy's going to bring aggression to our defensive line, but he's also going to bring, this is going to be great against the run game. To have a guy who can bona fidely chase down running backs, or at least, he's not just going to be someone you're going to nail down in the middle of your line and just say, stuff that gap. It's going to be, if a guy hits the perimeter or the edge, he's going to be right on your ass. This is another hustle play, 29 exactly. Again, I just got to keep showing you these. Watch the man and how he hustles. This is a pass out to the exterior, but watch him go, go, go. He's there ready to cover. If that's broken, he's going to be the guy making the touchdown saving tackle there. Now, again, it doesn't happen, but I'm just showing you he doesn't need to do all this. So he's there. The pass rush is gone. And look, as soon as he turns, he's sprinting, and you're going to see him. There he is. He's the guy who's covering if those tackles are broken. The 330-pound DT is going to come across and make the saving tackle if his perimeter corner can't.
I just want to. I love the hustle and I love everything you said about that. I just want to point out one thing which is especially apparent from this rep, which Brodrick needs to fix straight away, and that is sometimes his first step is backwards. And like kind of when the snap goes and you do a false step. So I'll slow this right down just so it's painfully obvious. But his first step is like leaning back on his heel before he goes forward. And I'll try and that was at the snap.
No, I saw it. It's kind of almost propelling. He's propelling himself.
So he gets in his 3-point stance.
He sort of propels himself.
And he goes back with his right leg, and it's like, they will crucify you for that.
I don't know. I think again, that's technical. That's like when you start driving and they tell you not to look down at your gear stick. That's just something that gets slapped out of you, and eventually you stop doing it.
Deathbound Man says Doze has just said that he's predicted Martin will block at least one extra point or kick from the line this year. Thoughts?
So
he's definitely good at blocking stuff.
It's actually
stuff.
Yeah, again, right. Hang on, where are we? So we're going to see that in a minute. He's going to bat a pass down in a minute, which is really good. But,
30-50, I have as his next one.
Well, I got 30-45. I think it's the same. So this is a double team, but you're going to see how he holds his ground against double teams. The run is going to get stuffed. He does what he needs to. He gets double teamed, but he doesn't give up any ground whatsoever. Again, strength. Man has strength. Look at that. Up he goes. The run is stuffed. There's no running lane emerging where he is. I just love the strength that he comes up with here. Look, 1, 2. Look how he's anchored down.
And the thing is, he engages with the left guard, and it's the left tackle coming in and chipping. The heavier guy is the person who has the best angle on him, and he continues to hold his ground. It's amazing play.
Exactly. The left guard's in the because in tight situations like that, you can use your lineman as a blocker, really. If he's not moving, then he's static. The running back, that's another obstacle for him to avoid. But that's the strength you want to see. I know we saw a couple of examples of him getting double-teamed and he was getting moved out the way. But this is an example where you see that he does actually have the power to deal with it, not letting himself get shifted like that, which, you want to see. And I love it. And then the next one, this is, again, I think he's a very intelligent player. You're going to see him pass block here. So you're going to see the pass rush. Ain't going to work. He immediately looks at the quarterback's eyes, gets in his way, and bats the pass down.
This is an incredible rep.
Yeah, I love this. So you're going to see him rush. Look. Oh. Just sticks his paw out.
He's not sticking a paw out just because he hasn't won the rep. He's looking, like you say, at the quarterback's eyes and going, I think he's passing it here.
He's eyeballing the quarterback. And like, you saw the smaller guy earlier who couldn't see past the center to the quarterback. Watch him. Hits it. Oh, look at that. Up it goes. It's just very instinctive. He sees where it's going, pulls up really quick because he's not actually that far from him when he throws it. That ball's going fast. I love, and that's another thing he's going to bring to the line, the ability to bat those passes. If you're trying to get them out quick, they've generally got to go quite low and fast. And if he's in there and he's eyeballing the QB and seeing where it's going, that's just another sort of aspect to his game that you're seeing in front of it. So,
and he makes the quarterback think again, because after having just battered down that one, he does basically the same thing here, and he forces the quarterback to go to his next read instead of risking being picked off by this guy.
You described it perfectly. Go for it.
So he doesn't even try and rush that time. He just forces the quarterback to scramble a little bit. I think the back angle is actually better on this one.
Yeah. You can see where the quarterback's looking, what he's trying to do.
So three technique.
Just drops in. There he goes. Oh, no. Off it goes. He's in the passing lane. he doesn't try to rush. He just drops back, sits in coverage in the passing lane, and like you say, he forces the quarterback to go to a different read, and nothing really happens from the play. And I kind of wish we showed a few more without him, but this just goes to show the impact he has on that team in this game. If he's playing 70% of the snaps, we don't expect him to, but it might just be that little bit different because they do end up only losing by 3 points. But do you sort of get what I'm saying now? When you read just the base stats and everything about this game, and you see his PFF grade, you think, oh well, there's nothing to see in this game. And actually, we have shown you every single play he's been in, and we've explained something that he's done in that play. And this is what they don't get credit for, nose tackles do, and for these like inside DTs, like the one tech guys. They do a lot of grifting and they don't get a lot of love. But Brodric Martin, what he does for this team, I just love the guy. And I'm not gonna lie, these few tapes I've watched of him alone have already sort of made me appreciate him a lot more than I did before.
33.50.
Yeah, I'm with you for 49, but hey ho, it's milliseconds. Oh, let's just play this one through and enjoy him.
So that one he's again trying to get into the passing lane.
So he stands his ground. I don't think there's any serious. And this is maybe where, can he make more of an attempt to pass rush? Is the ability to do so there? That maybe been picky. You sort of look. He looks like he's going to. You see the little shimmy. He feigns to pass rush, and it's like, again, this is me nitpicking, but you don't see too much of the pass rush in here. Maybe is he going to?
I don't think that's part of the point of what's happening here, though. Can you see?
No, I'm not disagreeing. He's in the passing lane again. He's watching the QB's eyes, and maybe he decides why not to. He's like, right, this is coming out. I'm seeing where the QB is. I'm in the passing lane. I'm going to at least put the threat there.
So I think that because they rush 3, I've seen this play design on Madden before, so I'm going to try and adequately draw this. Martin is that there, where actually his assignment isn't pass rushing. He is sort of this chevron-y sort of thing like that, whereas the guys on the outside are doing that and doing that, and he's got to basically eat all of the A and B gaps in case the quarterback comes running. He's 2-gapping here, and so I don't think there's any worries about whether he should be pass rushing here or not, because I really don't think that's his bag on this play.
It's a minor note. It's just, and I said the same with Aleem. I'd love to have seen him do a bit more pass rushing in his time, but it can be done. But again, I like where he is. He's trying to impact the game, and he's in the passing lanes. He's doing what he needs to, not just sort of throwing himself into a play and getting himself taken out. Playing smart.
Big Aries just has looked like he might be standing up a little bit as well. He does seem to. I don't know whether this was designed, and I think it kind of must have been, but sometimes he's just not attacking. And is their bag there sort of because he's so big that he's just trying to stop the quarterback throwing over the middle? I
mean, Western Kentucky have had a lot of the speed edge rushes over the recent time, so I think it is a schematic thing where they let the guys do the damage on the outside rather than through the interior. But it is there. He can do it. I mean, he did in the Indiana game, and that's against the Power 5 side. This is a really good team they're playing here, and they've lost 3 times in a row to them. They've had their ass kicked, even with Bailey Zappi and Austin Reed last year. They had the best passing offenses in the FBS nearly pretty much, and they still can't beat them. This is just a really damn good team. So sometimes you got to respect your opponent.
All right, this next one is 34-28.
Yeah.
Engages but doesn't really attack, trying to affect the passer by getting in lanes. Again, so very similar to what we've seen before.
Yeah, because at this point, UTSA, they threw for, they got 500 yards offense on the day, 300 through the air. At this point, they're just trying to beat them through the air. I mean, I've not got too much after this point. I think a lot of what I wanted to see from I've already sort of explained in detail. But again, look, he's watching. He's very much alert to the possibility that the pass is going to come his way, and you can see him alter his own. He's trying to get in the passing lanes. He's trying to move with the quarterback, trying to throw him off. it's just hustle. He just keeps on going and going and going. It's like he doesn't know when to stop. Now, yes, he does have to take prolonged periods out the game, but I understand why. Because when he's out there, he gives everything he has, and no Staggles are not designed to be out there all the time.
Just reading Williams' comments. He says it can be coached to prep for a double team. He isn't meant to be a penetrating player, so disrupting isn't the goal. He's meant to be eating up gaps.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it is, and these are just comments from someone who doesn't know what he's on about. But
in terms of you, not William.
Oh no, I mean, I know, I don't know what
Yes.
I'm on about.
Yes, I wanted to
criticizing William. William's very clever with this sort of stuff, and I would be inclined to believe him. But you need to know the scheme, and a lot of times you don't know what the scheme and the specific roles are. But you know, I love everything I've seen from him pretty much, and I don't really care about his pass rush right now. He is going to be in this team to affect the run, and you've seen how he does that. You know, you've seen the spacing, you've seen the fighting, the leverage he's got, the hustle he's got, the ability to deal with double teams. And this is again against very good quality opposition. Some of these guys are going to be in the NFL, some are in the NFL. You know, I know it's not this year, but Spencer Burford's with the 49ers now as a starter for them. They produce good talent. So this is a good barometer to see him working against.
We're definitely facing the 49ers this year, just saying.
In the NFC Championship game.
Something like that. You said there's not too much more to see. I had 4 more plays that I had highlighted.
Oh yeah,
Are we going to watch
more,
all of them?
But,
okay.
Yeah, let's watch them. Let's finish them off. It's just in terms of like saying much new. But...
So I think this is a penalty. On Sorsdal, on Brodric Martin, not against him. So he pushes, and I think the guy gets behind him and just pushes him, like in his back, fully in his back. So I don't think this is a loss.
But this is how you can tell when the stuff with the player, because again, you saw it with Aleem's tape. There's dirty hits with Aleem. They love to hold him because he was that quick at getting to the outside and getting round the edge. But they started laying dirty hits on him. And here you're seeing a few questionable hits because at this point they're fed up with him and they're cheating.
This one is one of the ones I had bolded as a notable play. So
yeah,
I said, does great here, anchors and pushes the centre back into the runner.
Yeah. Again, this is what you want to see: dominance on the line. Look at him. The rushing lane is not there. He gets leverage. He puts the offensive lineman exactly where he wants to, which is in the rushing lane of his running back. Look, under he goes. That's centre can't do anything.
And it's a good centre.
Yeah, really you saw how that centre was destroying everything that was not Brodric Martin in plays he's not on the field. He is good. And you saw him fighting helplessly. He's just like, oh my God, get off me. I can't. And again, this is the point the offensive line are like, I'm fed up with this guy.
So I kind of had this as a nothing play. But you can see his effort. He is almost... Yeah. He's the guy next to the pylon.
Yeah. And look at how many guys have sort of given up on that play. The quicker, more athletic corners and linebackers. And again, it's your 330-pound man at DT hustling. Look, see, goes for a pass rush. Stops, off he goes. You can still see him. You can see his feet in the edge of the frame. He's not that far off. Again, this is just showing the attributes of a player. It's not showing necessarily what he does in game, but this is big. The guy is relentless, and players that we draft are relentless. They have this mindset and this mentality, and you've seen the intelligence as well. They love football. This dude loves football. I've listened to him speak. I've listened to his interviews. Yeah. And I have an entirely new appreciation for him now that I've deep dived and watched it all.
This is a really big play. So tight game, 4th and 1. He's in at the 1 technique, eats the space, holds the point of attack, gives the rest of his teammates a chance to win this rep.
Thanks, Brent. I saw that.
He actually gets turned around on this play slightly, but he's attracting so much attention here. He actually tries to spin, my bad.
Yeah,
but
tries to spin his way.
There's no gaps there. They all crash inwards, and then the running back tries to go behind him, but he's just a man mountain.
Your defensive line is anchored by it, and this is why I love the Aleem pick, because we just not had a guy like him for so long to anchor the defensive line. That's what it runs through. It's all about stopping the run up the gut to start and then moving outwards. You need that guy in there. And now Aleem's going to be doing a bit more pass rushing. He's going to move out a little bit. Brodric could be the next guy in who's going to come and do this. He's going to take some refinement. Absolutely, he is. But you look at this and you're like, actually, spending a third-round pick on this guy is not as bad as you once thought, because he's got all the tools you need. But more than that, he's got it up here. He's got that desire and that will that a lot of players who are going above him just don't have.
This is a really impressive play, getting past the left guard. This is the first time I've actually seen him use a pass rush move, I think, the whole time.
And actually, Det Fanman's made a really good point here. Who's his new D-line coach? John Scott, who's also coming out of Penn State, who just happens to be a school which just produced so much elite defensive talent. I know more so on the D-line, it's more edge, but you've had PJ Mustafa come through recently. You have other guys. They're a factory of NFL talent, so he's going to be coming with him. And if anyone's going to be able to refine his game from G5 to Power 5 standard to above, he's got a real good coach here who's going to be able to bring the best out of him.
It was already a nothing play, but a really nice throw and touchdown.
Harris is such a good quarterback.
Yeah, I got an appreciation for him after this game.
I love Frank Harris. I think Frank Harris is the best quarterback in the G5. I do, and I've said this for time. I know the guys have flashier stats on that, but he's led this team to 2 conference titles in a row. He's a damn good quarterback. I don't know if there's any draft stock in him, but he's a great player.
I wouldn't have thought so far, but yeah.
I love this UTSA team. I'm not going to lie. I've had an affinity for them for the last 2 years. I called them to win the CUSA last year, and they did. It's just a great side. But he really does show against them here. And I think he's a big reason why this game is so close. He leads by example on this D-line and just makes plays and just leads by example. I'm going to be on a team. I want to see the guy hustling. If my 330-pound DT is hustling, I want to hustle with him. If he can do it, I can do it, sort of thing. It's that mentality you have.
I've got on here really good work versus the centre to out-leverage and force him back. If the running back had taken the handoff here, he'd have been there to make the play. Quarterback ends up keeping it. But
this centre is going to have had a really sore back the day after this. Just look at the arching. I know it gets him in the end, but he's there. He's doing what he needs to do. You see him get the leverage straight off. Look at the way he arches his back. And plus, the left guard influences that. He lands a chip on him. That's not fair. The center doesn't beat him one-on-one for pure out strength. Just look at the relentlessness in every play. The violence. The tempo. Here he goes again. Ball's out really quick, but he's in there.
Just reacts to it so quickly.
Yeah.
He doesn't make any impact on this play, but it doesn't take away from the fact that he's following the ball.
Yeah, he sees the ball before it's out, and you do see him try and move. It's just so quick. But again, you've seen plenty of examples in this video of where he does do it, and he's always looking, and it's something that you don't really teach.
So this is the first time that we see him at the 6 technique.
Yes,
I will say
it's fun. It's fun to see him on the edge, but I do prefer him when he's in the middle. Yeah,
there he is. And
what are you doing up there?
And power rushes the left tackle almost into the quarterback on this play. So it's so good.
Yeah, he just cannot deal with him, and he actually wins the edge. He gets around. Yeah, he doesn't have the speed required for an edge player to do it. A speedier edge would have got there quicker, but I just want to see the technique. And he just makes life hell for everybody.
Come on, peeps.
I'm not going to lie. Look at that. Underneath, tackle's just like, yeah, get me out of here. I don't want to face him no more.
Big hit as well. Not on this play. What I will say is really impressive. because I looked at every snap of this one as well. He only played 2/3 of the snaps, as you were kind of saying before, 43 out of 79 or whatever it was.
46 out of 79.
40, so just under 2/3. But when the game was on the line, as you can see on the scoreboard there, it's a 3-point game with 8 minutes left in the fourth quarter and they don't have the ball. He played 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. He played 12 out of the last 13 defensive snaps. So, like, when the game's on the line, he's being called upon to make plays. And even at his size, they trust him to have the stamina late on in the game to still go to work. And he potentially gets better through the game.
Yeah. He does.
Does well to hold attack and fill running lane was my note for this one.
Yeah. There's just stuff you want to see.
Not this one. Next one.
Yeah. That's it. It's about 41, isn't it?
41-27. There we go.
Yeah. Again, this is just stuff that you're looking for on tape that a DT does well. Again, fighting, blocks his lane.
I mean, yes, the running back makes a big play, but the running back is looking to run inside and he forces him to go outside.
We're ignoring that. We're ignoring that. It's what his assignment is. And this is where you don't look at the play, you look at him. And look, the gap's there. He
comes through his gap. Yeah.
He's through his gap and he's there to make the play. The edge contain is not there, but he himself, the player, did what he was meant to do and did it very well. Fought through a double team there. And like I say, he's still going. He must be absolutely exhausted by now, but he's still just going. You wouldn't know it. You think it was the first snap of a game the way he plays. So look, fighting.
Again.
But again, you watch how the running back deviates. He's like, I'm not going in that direction. I'm not going where he is. There's nothing there. You see the running back cut to the right-hand side here. But there it is. It's like, oh, no, I'm going this way. Because he got nothing. He got nothing to work with where Brodrick is. Absolutely nothing. And this isn't just trying to run the game out at this point, but he's providing very solid run defense, even still now.
One of my favourite plays, this just misses the tackle, but explodes through the double team to almost take down the running back with him going the other way. So by the time he fits through his gap, him trying to change directions is a little bit tough for him. But the fact that he actually makes it shows he does have pass rush upside. Because this is him penetrating now.
Yeah, this is what you saw with... You just saw enough. But you're able to get through. I mean, maybe should be called a hold there, but you just see the base tools to work with it.
How does he get through that?
Get the gap, and he even gets a paw on him. I know he doesn't bring you down, and I'm not having to go in the slightest here. The fact that he manages just to get a hand on him, I mean, that impacts where the running back's going right there already. So he's through the gap and almost makes a play on the guy himself. Now, I mean, and I think you just get such terrific value here because what you get, I mean, you know, people go, the third round pick was too high for him, but you are essentially getting... You know, I mean, Keanu Benton went so high. I loved Keanu because he was one of the best run defenders in college football, but he had the pass rush upside, which made him a high day 2 pick. You know, that's sort of the difference here. But this can be developed with Broderick. You can get the value you got with Keanu Benton all the way down in the third. And it just makes sense now because we needed a D tackle in this draft and no one went after this. Siaki Ika went after this. And I sure as hell would not be having such a fun time watching his tape because I know exactly what he's about. And he is not about this. Absolutely not. There should be no doubt in anyone's mind now if they thought Ika was the better option. Not true.
Not true. Not even close.
This is not even close. This is one of the best teams they played all season in conference. Even probably better than Indiana. This UTSA team have beat Indiana.
So
this is the level.
He's just played 10 out of the last 11 plays. This is the second to last play of the game. We've already seen reps where he's had to follow the quarterback and make sure that he can't go inside to force him outside. Surely he can't do it after all of this time being on the field without much relief. Oh no, sir. He does it again. So drops back, watching the quarterback. And then he chases him and forces him outside. And a first down wins the game here.
Yeah.
And he forces him out for a 3rd and 2. At that point.
Right into the waiting gaps of those perimeter backs.
Watching the quarterback, and look at that.
Look at the two go. It's crazy. it
So that was
that is a
third down. It's
guy.
now 4th and 2 to win the
Yeah,
game. Sorry.
and he's still out there. He's just ran perimeter to perimeter, chasing a really fast quarterback. I know he's still there.
And then last play of the game, they do convert this, but he splits the
He's through
O-line.
his gap. He's through his gap, and that's questionable call as to whether they get it or not. But
Yeah, they
hey
do.
ho,
They do.
yeah,
But
I don't know
he's
whether he's out. But
if it was a run play, he'd have eaten it up and they'd have been turned away. As it was, they end up losing the game on that play. But for a game, which I'll just say this again, I'll bring it up. He was graded 57.8 with a 38.3 on tackling, which is based on missing one tackle. That's it.
which was probably that one that I nitpicked earlier.
Yeah, which
That was probably that, which is questionable.
it's questionable.
But
otherwise, he had a reasonable pressure grade, an okay run defense grade. But actually, hang on a minute, you have a look at that, and we've gone through every play that he was on the field for, and some that he wasn't. They were running through the defensive line like a hot knife through butter when he wasn't there. And then when he was, like Ant was saying, he was doing the dirty work for his teammates the majority of the time so that they could make plays. He was getting double and triple teamed. He was getting chipped and chopped and blocked in the back and all of it. He was an absolute nuisance through the game.
Exactly. And this is why I don't like PFF. People look at stats and they make assumptions about guys based on their PFF stats. Don't. Did you think, I didn't think I was going to come into this. I thought I would like him, but I didn't come out thinking, oh my God, actually, it makes so much sense as to why they've drafted him now and why they actively, aggressively went out to pursue him and get him before somebody else did. So I'm pretty sure the Browns would have taken him if we didn't. I think Browns took Ika just afterwards. I'm pretty sure they would have gone for Brodric Martin as well, but you've seen everything you want to there. That was one of his bad graded games. But you saw the missed tackle percentage, 5%. Absolutely wonderful for a guy. You want a guy who doesn't miss tackles, and even then it was questionable, and probably me being a bit too harsh because I don't know what I'm talking about. But the hustle is the main thing. Wanting to make plays, wanting to get involved, but then you mix it up with he does everything you want a run stuff in DT to do, literally everything. And you see examples of him losing reps. I cannot state it enough. The level of the opposition is as good as he can get at is where he is. It's so much more than what we saw with Sorsdal earlier. And I'm not knocking Sorsdal, but there's a different level of what he's facing and the guys he's coming up against. So I am really excited to see Broderick at the next level. Yes, there is development to be had, but he can crack this rotation this year if he carries on with that same passion that he plays with. He's going to be like Malcolm. He's going to get to a point where we're like, well, we don't really want to play him, but we're going to have to because he's one of the best ones we've got. And if guys like Covington and Benito and Bugs, if they start to sleep, if they're like, oh no, I'm going to get my spot there, you've got to take that spot off them before they can blink. But I'm just going to say I love everything about that. I understand there is development to be made, but Broderick is legit, and he was absolutely worth trading up to get.
There was a summary question from Brent that I just wanted to bring to you. It said, so barring injury, do we bring him along slowly or do the trial by fire in order to get him adjusted to NFL speed? So do you think it's worth risking it to bringing him a little bit earlier than you might do? Or do you think we've got the people in that spot already that are kind of there and that he can kind of sit and learn for a little bit?
If Brodrick Martin comes out of training camp as an impressed more than the other rotational guys, he should start week 1. That is what I would do with him. I mean, I know we did the same with Aleem. We played Aleem a lot from the off, and let's not forget. I mean, where was Aleem drafted? 97th? Am I right? They can't be that far apart in terms of the pick numbers that we made. And I know Aleem comes from a Power 5 school, and I think he has a bit more of a starting pass rush upside and a little bit of an advantage on him. But, we threw Aleem in there, and you're seeing year 3 now, Aleem has been through a lot of hardship. Yeah, especially that first year, he took a lot of bumps and, again, did a lot of the dirty work that no one appreciated. But what we're getting now in year 3 it's a really good defensive tackle in him, and you're seeing his pass rush upside get better. And that's all because he earned his spot, he went in, he won it, and they gave him game time straight away. And he was a full-time starter last year. Do the same with Brodrick. If he earns it, do not be afraid to put him in there. Because that's what this team is about, giving opportunity to those who, even though on paper you think, maybe we should sit them and develop them. Why not? Why not go and put him in there and say, look, you go out there and you run stuff, and don't forget who he's going to be playing alongside. He ain't going to get double teamed every play because Aleem's going to be getting double teamed every play. And you can't double team Aleem and Brodrick and leave Aiden on the edge one-on-one with some fool, and Houston and Pascal and all these guys. You can't allocate the resources to a rookie defensive tackle to go double team him. So the opportunity will be there for Brodrick to make his impact and to be able to have a good role on this team. I love the depth. And I say he's around some good experienced veterans and a young guy who has come through and taken the hard route himself. So I would 100% play him if he earns it in camp. Don't just sit him. Send him out there. That's the only way they learn.
Lisa just said you can't compare Aleem and Broderick. Aleem was an athletic specimen, but they are nose tackles who were drafted in a very similar position, so they are comparable on that basis.
So I've already said they're not similar in terms of the type of player. What I've said is in terms of what they are capable of. They are both very capable nose tackles. They are very good against the run. They are very good against double teams, the use of leverage, all that sort of stuff. And they both have pass rushing upsides. Now, they do it differently. You know, the way they're going to go about this is differently. Brodrick Martin's going to use sheer strength and power to do his pass rushing and a lot of his dirty work. Aleem has more finesse. He's a little lighter, but he's still got the ability to be in there and be a disruptor. So I'm not saying they're the same player, but from their starting point and what the games are predicated on, they are similar players. And I think you're going to see a similar sort of trajectory from Broderick as you did with Aleem. Maybe you not get as much starting reps right away because Aleem came into a room that was barren. Broderick is not. But in terms of, if you go back and watch the tape we did on Aleem 2 years ago, you will notice the similarities between the pair of them. But yes, Aleem is more athletically gifted. That is literally the difference here. But
yeah, he's not getting called Twinkle Toes anytime soon. That's not going.
No, Aleem's spin move. I loved Aleem. You know, he had this gorgeous spin move he used to knock out every now and then when we did the tapes, and he just made it look so effortless, and it was so great. Brodrick Martin ain't got a spin move, but he's sure as hell got bulldoze them out the way. I think with them two, you've got a very special young core of DTs. Or you will do in a year or two. Aleem will be a fully fledged veteran by then, but you've drafted really well for the position. He will be worth a third-round pick. I will say that now. In a few years, we will not be having the conversation as to whether it was a stupid move or not. I fully believe that with him.
Big Aries says he's a project but should fill in nicely. Mile Marker 301 says, this has been really interesting. Back at the draft, I didn't get what they saw in him, but I do now, and it's really great to hear that, you know, you can watch us talk about this and actually have your mind changed. I'm really gratified to hear stuff like that. Got Det Fan Man trying to be clever with his thing about Aileen McNeil, but I think he lost 20 pounds or something in that regard. I think he was like 325 and slimmed down to about 300 or so. Was it or maybe 318 to 300?
I would not expect Broderick to carry 330 into the NFL. I would expect him to maybe drop to 320, something like that. Maybe just, I think he will do similar, but he will still stay over 300 pounds because that will be his thing. But you've got to have that big chunky guy in there. And you've seen he's athletic at 330.
Oh,
he doesn't need to lose weight.
How fast he chases those quarterbacks. I mean, he's not catching up to Justin Fields. But
I mean, I think one of the great things John Scott will do for him, and one of the great things Penn State do, is they teach technique in terms of like pass rushing, in terms of that sort of finesse sort of stuff, which will translate into Broderick's game, which he doesn't have right now. And there's no knock on him. People come up and they don't have this certain stuff. I think that's what John Scott's going to do for him. You'll start seeing a bit more of the intricate pass rushing moves, or just the leverage moves, just to gain a little bit more in there. But he's at a good level already, and he's got a great tutor, and he's got a great room that he's in. So, you know, I'm sold on the pick now. I understand why now that I've watched more of him. I knew he was good, but you understand those like I say, with Holmes and Campbell picks, it's all about desire and effort and the ability to be the best player possible. It may sound stupid, but a lot of draft picks don't have that. Ours do, and he has this, but he has what you need to go with it. I'm going to be really interested to see how they use him, but I would expect to see him this year sooner rather than later.
Yeah, I would as well. Deathman Man reiterates his question on special teams. I do think that Brodrick will play some special teams reps. I just think someone of his height and his ability to predict where things are going to go, I think he will be a menace, especially on field goals and point after tries. But, I mean, if he gets one block, great. I mean, how many blocks did we get last year? I think none. So, if we're asking him to come in and be that effective, I mean, even if he blocks one kick, I don't think it's translating into much, really. Okay, we're saving 1 point. I don't think many games are decided really by 1 point. It could change something, but you're arguing the thin slice of the wedge with him. I wouldn't be looking for him to, even if he makes an impact there, like, who cares to some extent?
He'll do it. You know, he won't, you know, he will do the special teams dirty work if it gets him on the side.
Yeah,
absolutely. He absolutely will, but you know, I've heard people talk about, you know, is he going to fit in? You know, can't carry this many DTs on the roster. He's going to be there. If he has a good camp, like you will be kissing goodbye to one of the other DTs for sure.
All right. Yeah. Anything else you want to say before we sign off?
No, I've enjoyed this a lot. Again, like with Sorsdal, I've not seen much. With Martin, I've seen some, but not much. But it's great to have these sessions. And like I say, because you can see why the team have done it now. It's not every time when you can sort of see automatically why the team made this pick. It's like when we picked Levi and Aleem, we were all like, DT twice. It's just, it's so meh. And even I, who liked Aleem, is a bit, I don't want to do 2 in a row. But then you watch it and then you get sold. And then you're like, yeah, I see why now. And with these two guys, there's development and refinement to be had. But as trench warfare players, those are 2 guys that I want on my trenches. And if they reach their ceilings as players, which they should do, they're going to be 2 very good players on there. But Brodric Martin got starter written all over him if they develop him right. As soon as next year, he could be getting Aleem starter level reps that he got year 2. Sorsdal might take a bit longer, but again, you can see it with him. Just the passion and the intensity and the IQ he has.
The reason that Sorsdal will take longer is because there's more competition in what people think his position in the NFL is going to be. That's the reason. It's not because of Sorsdal himself, I don't think. I think that Sorsdal could play.
Exactly. And again, as I say, the thing I love most about these is this is why you watch your tape. On stats alone, Martin does not stand out at all. But when you watch him, he really does.
Yeah, he pops.
I'm looking forward to seeing him so much now because I love Aleem. I love the hype around him and what he is. I love the DTs. I've now just got nearly as much excitement for him.
All right, that's going to do it for us for this one. Hope you've enjoyed this video on Colby Sorsdal and Brodrick Martin. If you enjoyed this and you missed last week, we had a look at Antoine Green. So go and check that one out. Next time out, we've got 5 more guys to cover. So I don't know whether we're going to do 1, 2, and 2 or 2, 2, and 1 or whatever we're going to do. But I do know for sure that next week will include Hendon Hooker, who's the next up on the list. It may include Brian Branch as well. It depends whether we decide to spend one entire episode on the one quarterback we have, or whether we decide to spend one on Jahmyr Gibbs all by himself. But it will definitely include Hooker and maybe Branch.
Jahmyr Gibbs on his own.
Jahmyr Gibbs on his own. Okay, Hendon Hooker and Brian Branch coming up next week. So that's going to be a really interesting watch given how well both of those guys played last year. Next episode on the main podcast tomorrow, 2:30 Eastern, 7:30 p.m. UK time. I have booked a Chicagoan and a Viking for the show tomorrow, but I'm not sure I have my Green Bay guy. So it might be a 3/4 of the NFC North round table, but I'm still working on our Green Bay guy, so hopefully we have that. Should be a good discussion about our relative off seasons and the state of the division in general. So come and join us for that. And cheers as always, mate. Really enjoy these ones, and it seems like we got some good feedback on this. So cheers to all of you guys for watching, and we'll see you tomorrow. But for now, let's go Lions One Pride.
See you again soon.